Willie Donick. Or is it Billy? We'll go with Willie today. He may put me on the list today at noon. He disclosed
Billy
yesterday.
only for fun. Not with
not
any
like
permanent.
Billy.
Well, no, it's fun for. Well, I think the question was, should we just start calling him Billy permanently? Wasn't that the question?
Well, I jokingly had
yeah.
fun with it. I was, of course, having fun. Of course, that wasn't serious.
I'm into fun. I'm into fun.
Wink, 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 wink. I was giving Max Hers, who's on the board, at our Hillside Medical Game Studios, kind of the origin of where Billy was hatched. I took him back to that day on the show. And I don't even know. My memory is certainly partly cloudy every day.
Partly cloudy with the chance of showers?
It's not just Fridays after the show when I'm 3 margaritas in. Like, that's really, like, mostly cloudy. But partly cloudy every day with nothing. I know we were talking a lot. You kept bringing up, we were talking Vanderbilt, and you just, Vandy, and I was like, Vandy Willie, and then something like to the effect of, I said, or is it Villy? And I think that's how it all was hatched. Now, again, that's my partly cloudy memory. Do you see it that way, or do you have a different version of the story?
I don't even remember. I don't know if that was exactly.
So we're going with my partly cloudy story.
Yeah, I'll go with your partly cloudy story.
Yeah.
We'll have to check the tape.
Yeah, we could, but I'm pretty sure I hatched Villy, and I think it was because you kept saying.
You definitely hatched it. You and D-Mace were together in cahoots.
You just kept bringing up Vanderbilt and Vanderbilt, and yeah,
that I don't remember. I thought it was a hockey thing.
It was no, you kept saying V, all these V's, and I was like, gosh, this is because I remember going, this is Vandy Willie, and then it was like, or is it Villy, and that's how it started. I'm pretty sure. I feel pretty good about that, but maybe we do.
That doesn't ring a bell, but I don't remember how it happened. I thought there was some hockey stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was an original Predator named Ville Pelton.
Yes, there was. You were never, cross-referenced with ever when he played for the Preds. So that was never hatched then. We know that. But there was that for the Preds. Did you see last night down in Sunrise, Florida? I knew it. I was like, why did I pick against the Lightning? So dumb. So dumb. So ridiculous. They've won 2 cups in a row for a reason. They just have it. And last night they had it with 4 seconds to go, or 3.8, whatever you want to call it. It's unbelievable.
That one stings if you're the Panthers.
Oh, they're done. I'm here to tell you, they're done. You can't recover from that. You're done.
Wow.
You heard it first. They're done.
Well,
this is, again, me changing my pick. I'm picking the Lightning now in this series.
Just a major breakdown. If you didn't see it, just sort of look, have I been that guy who's made a big mistake at a big time? Oh, yeah. I've been there. So I don't mean to get on the guy, but it was amazing to hear and watch. Because if you watch TNT's coverage, they have a lot of great analysis. They tend not to pile on and rip anybody. And they didn't do it. They did it in a sort of a classy way, but man, every single one of them said, what is that guy thinking? Right? Mackenzie Weegar, who's a great player. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason Florida is the President's Trophy winner was Mackenzie Weegar, who was considered just a few years ago to be just another defenseman. Pretty good guy, pretty good defenseman, not bad, whatever. He's made a big jump. He's turned into an excellent defenseman. That's how your team rises up above in the salary cap world. But, man, did he make a big mistake last night. He made a fundamental error going after a guy who was not a threat in the closing seconds of regulation behind the net and left a man wide open in front of the net. And sure enough, Nikita Kucherov took full advantage, made a beautiful pass right on the tape. And Ross Colton, right? Again, all these philosophical questions we have about the Predators. How do you build a winner? Well, Ross Colton, I think, was a 4th-round pick last year. Nobody ever heard of Ross Colton. He all of a sudden starts scoring goals for Tampa, and he makes the play and puts them up 2-0, 2 road wins in Florida, going back to Tampa. Now, I don't know if Florida will be totally out of it. I got to believe there's something better than that, but that's a death blow right there, if there ever was one.
Done. D-U-N. Done.
Crazy stuff happens.
Oh, man. I just got put out in the spelling bee.
That was just a shock. A shocker.
Yep. So that series is over. So congratulations to the Lightning. They're on to the conference finals. They'll await the winner of the Rangers and the Hurricanes, which tonight will be Game 2. But how about the Blues last night?
Looked like a totally different team.
I remember when I put out there this was going to be an interesting series. Everybody. This is going to be so easy for Colorado. Okay. 1-1 heading back to St. Louis. I still think Colorado's going to win it, but I said this is going to be a fun series to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm picking the Avalanche, but I am going to tell you I think St. Louis is better than both Calgary and Edmonton. I don't know if that's a stretch to say Edmonton. I think St. Louis is better than Calgary. I think they're the second best team in the West. So this reminds me a lot of the series between the Predators and the Jets a couple years ago, where you got two teams out of the same division having to play each other in the second round, and they might be the two best in the conference. And I give St. Louis a lot of credit because they looked overmatched in the first game. They were lucky to get to overtime, but they were just simply the better team last night. They absolutely just beat the Avalanche. They beat them in their building, which almost never happens.
Yep.
In terms of just being the better team for 60 minutes, that has not happened much in Denver the last couple years, but that happened last night. So that's a pretty good confidence boost coming back. And Jordan Binnington is playing Jordan Binnington of 2019, and he was lost. He lost his job in the middle of the season. He lost his job to Ville. He lost to Ville.
He lost to Ville.
It all comes back to Ville.
It all comes back to Ville, but he's back. He is back, and Ville is on the bench.
Ville's on the bench, and Ville is a free agent, so that's going to be an interesting guy to watch in the offseason.
Donovan Franklin on our text line says, yeah, and Tampa didn't even have Braden Point. Yeah, we got it, Donovan. Yeah, thanks. I get it. Okay, I've already said. It's a bad pick. Chris and Gallatin on our text line says, I believe you guys were talking, this could be on. Chris could be on to something, that we were talking about the new Vanderbilt logo.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
I think Chris and Gallatin nailed it.
It was the new V.
It was the new V. I think that's right.
Hey,
right. Back to sunny skies. I see
sunny skies. The clouds have been lifted.
The clouds have been lifted, and Chris and Gallatin is correct.
He's correct. That's right.
We were talking about Vanderbilt and the new V. And that's how we hatched Ville.
I have no new material with the new V. I guess I'm going to have to wear my vintage V tonight. I'm going to go to the Hawk tonight for Game 2, Vanderbilt against LSU. There is a group of pre-Tim Corbin former players that will be gathering tonight. So watch out. Watch out. We're going to be in attendance. I don't know if we'll be heckling the other team like we used to from the dugout sometimes when we were way behind in the game. But we're going to have some fun tonight.
That was the case last night, sadly.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
We can relate. There were a couple of times where we faced those LSU teams of the early 90s and found ourselves behind early.
Yeah, we had a kid who missed practice last night. One of his parents is a huge LSU fan, and he's a big Vanderbilt fan. And his parents last weekend, we all went out to eat after our Saturday pool play. They were like, hey, Coach, would you have a problem if we miss Thursday to go to the Vanderbilt LSU game? And they never miss anything. I'm like, heck no, go. Go have fun.
I'm sure they had fun.
I was thinking,
They're LSU
fans. half of them. I was thinking of the kid on our team, and I was like, got home from practice last night and turned it on. I was like, yikes. It was 8-2 at that point, or 9-2, and then I kept seeing LSU hit home run after home run, and I was like, well, at least he got to see some home runs.
Let the record show, though, that Darren is a player's coach for the tidal wave.
Well, I mean, look, why would you? I mean, of course I want him at practice, but they're at everything. Why would I, to have an opportunity to go see a college baseball game? Go, man. Vanderbilt, LSU, how do you say no to that? Like, come on.
Our resident LSUer, Caroline Fenton, could not get a ticket for this weekend. I was talking to her about it.
That's another thing. They had tickets, right? You're like, you got to go.
Ticket.
Go. You got to go. Although when I turned it on, certainly wasn't a packed house. At that point, I guess people are like, it's Thursday. I'm going home. This one's over. I was like, oh, there's a lot of empties. And then I looked at the score. I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense now. All right, we're going to come back. There's something that's kind of just, I don't know, itching at me that I want to discuss on the other side. But right now, I think that Screwball Chase is in studio and wants to talk about something. He wants to talk about Screwball. Yeah, it's not Screwball Chase. It's Chase who wants to talk about Screwball. I think that's
I have some really bad news, Darren. It's me, Max, from the radio station, not Chase.
So Chase
I
is
told
not doing...
Chase, Screwball at the end of the segment, you want to come in? So maybe if we talk for 20 seconds, he'll hear it and come down from his office?
No, it's too late.
Things are getting screwy.
Yeah.
In the offices.
All right, we're going to – oh, boy, it's just shaking our heads. We'll come back. I want to get into something on the other side. By the way, Tim Hasselback will join us at 11 o'clock. He had to move this week for TV purposes, so he'll join us to begin the second hour. You're listening to the DDC ESPN 102.5 The Game.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game, and they get to the divisional round, and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give two poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This segment of ESPN 102.5 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
If you've been thinking about remodeling your home's kitchen or bath, contact the countertop experts at Smoky Mountain Tops. Willie Donick here, and I'm proud to tell you about my longtime friends. We installed Smoky Mountain Tops surfacing in our kitchen years ago, and it's remained durable and super easy to clean up. Smoky Mountain Tops is proud to offer the new prestigious Vidara Quartz for your kitchen or bath countertops. Check out the stunning new Vidara Quartz shown at Smoky Mountain Top Studio. Contact the pros at Smoky Mountain Tops. Quality, service, and dedication. SmokyMountainTops.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and when I'm out with my friends, my go-to is Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It can be served as a drink or a shot, and it's always a hit with the crew. Screwball is the original and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world, made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter. You can learn more about them by visiting screwballwhiskey.com, and do like me when you're out and about, ask for it by name at your favorite bar. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Erectile dysfunction ruins sex, but it's more than that. It harms otherwise good relationships. It destroys marriages. It can cause depression and anxiety, and it can be extremely hard on a man's self-esteem. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. And if you're suffering with ED, if it's affecting you, I want you to know that if you're like most men, we can treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we're ED experts. Our protocols have success rates as high as 90%. We've successfully treated thousands of men in the Music City, and we have a variety of treatment options and treatment combinations that could have you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour and experience great sex again that is satisfying for both you and your partner. In treating your health, expertise matters. So make an appointment today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Curation CBD is a local family-owned business started and grown right here in Middle Tennessee. Curation's mission is to provide the community with locally and organically sourced CBD products for everyday use. Curation means healing, and their CBD products will do just that. Curation CBD is a certified Tennessee product and is available at the Painted Tree in Franklin. Or visit them online and order now on their website at curationcompany.com. Use promo code DDC25 at checkout for 25% off Curation CBD. Curation, CBD products curated for life.
Hey, Preds fans.
Running across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Smashville's best sports talk.
The backhander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the DDC podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone.
There he is. There's Billy. There he is.
The cobwebs are gone.
I see the light. Oh, good stuff.
It's going to
All
be
right.
a bright,
It is going to be
sunshiny
a
day.
It is.
It's going to be hot, too. I've already done my jog today, Darren. I think I'm still sweating.
Yeah. Well, you've been known to have a towel handy for the beginning of shows.
Yes, I have. Hal Gill is the one. He always says this to me because I have been known to do this on the road as well with the Predators, heading to the morning skate. Willie, the shower didn't take, huh? Hey, Billy.
All right.
Like, yeah, I get it, yeah.
Yesterday we played the presser, the Preds end of the year presser, David Poyle and John Hines. And so we spent most of the entire show talking about that yesterday. And, you know, a lot of good stuff came out. We had Elliot Friedman on, and we discussed that. But kind of like the aftermath, and this has been brought up even before this. And I don't understand this mentality. And I would like some clarity from people who want this to happen and how you handle that, how you do that. I would love to know. So here goes. There's a school of thought, or there's a camp, there's a group of people that believe, hey.
A camp. Where is this camp?
Well, I mean, it's summertime. It's close to summer.
Yeah,
so
okay. It's camping season.
It's the time to use a camp reference, okay? People are going to be camping here soon. Blow it up. You got to blow it up. Tear it down. Like, what are you doing? Just tear it down. You got to get that generational player. Okay. All right, fine. We've already talked about this on the show. This is not new ground. Okay. By the way, there's no guarantees that does anything for you. The last time I checked, that Connor McDavid guy's pretty darn good. How's Edmonton done with him? Now, I know they're in the second round right now. How about, okay, let's use Austin Matthews. How's Toronto done with that generational player? And by the way, he produces every year. What do you have this year? 60 goals?
He had 60 goals.
60 goals.
He and Connor McDavid are both Hart Trophy finalists.
Did they play 3 more games than the Preds? Certainly, they did. Yep. Did they get any further than the Preds? No, they didn't. They didn't. And they haven't. They haven't been out of the first round either. So I get it. Okay, all that being said, they're unbelievable talents. Nobody would pass on those guys. Everybody would take them. But that's not even the point of this. The point of this is, okay, so just so I have this straight, you want to tear it down to try to go and get those guys. Okay, so my question is, what are you doing with Roman Josi? What are you doing with him? You have arguably the best defenseman in the league. He's basically Aaron Donald of the NFL. Okay, so what are you doing with him? You just going to let him play on a crappy team? Or are you taking him to the pawn shop? What are you doing? What are you doing with him? Okay, we talk on this show all the time about having that guy at quarterback, right? Now, I'm not certainly saying UC Saros is Tom Brady or is going to be Tom Brady. I don't even think he's Aaron Rodgers. I would say today Vasilevsky is the Aaron Rodgers in the NHL. Can we agree on that? Right?
Yes.
Everybody identifies him as the best goalie in the league. Maybe he's not even Mahomes. But who do you identify as like the next guy? Is he Josh Allen? Yeah, he could be Josh Allen. So if you have a Josh Allen on your team and you're not succeeding, are you going to think about blowing it up when everybody's trying to get that guy? The Predators have a Vezina finalist in net. A finalist means top 3 goalie in the league. So you have the quarterback, the guy that everybody says, get the hot one, and boy, you can go far. Everybody's trying to get that guy. Everybody wants to have the guy in net. Very few do, as we've seen in the playoffs already, right? There's been third stringers, backups. It's been all over the place. It hasn't been, other than Bobrovsky and Vasilevsky, there hasn't been a bunch of $10 million a year guys in net. Go look at some of the salaries that have been playing net in these playoff games. Doesn't mean that they don't want to have that guy. So you have that guy. And so what are you doing with him? So you're going to, again, are you keeping him to be crappy? So you think you're going to be crappy with one of the top 3 goalies in the league? So when I hear people say, tear it down and get that generational player, well, what are you doing with the pieces that are some of the best pieces to have in the league? What are you doing with those guys? You just taking them to the pawn shop? You going to keep them? Well, you can't keep them. That's not truly tearing it down. How are you going to tear it down with one of – you think Buffalo is going to go to 2-15 with Josh Allen? No. Even if they take a bunch of pieces away, he's good enough to win them games. Yeah, they may be average, but they're not going to be 2-15 or 1-16 to get the number 1 pick. What are you doing with all these other high-priced guys that you've paid these contracts to? Johansson, Duchesne. Obviously, Forsberg's the no-brainer if you're in this camp. He walks. Goodbye. Got nothing for him. I hear all these people talking about, you got to do this. How? With no guarantee. What do you do with these pieces? What do you do with these guys? So you honestly you just want to take them to the pawn shop and just get pennies on the dollar? Is that what you want? You know, for all this, you can get 3 first round. Look, you're not getting the Deshaun Watson haul, okay? That's not happening. That's not going to happen in the NHL. So you're not going to get true value for them, real value. So you just want to, you have those guys, ones that all the other teams are trying to get, and you're just going to pawn those off? And what? You're going to still support this team? Really? Interesting. It just, the people that keep bringing this up, and that's including the media, it makes no sense to me. Like, honestly, call into the show. We'll book you. You can come on the show, and I want to hear your plan for this. I want to hear how you're going to go about it. Just don't throw it out there. That's just a line. Anybody can do that. What's your plan? What are you doing with UC Saros? What are you doing with Roman Josi? You keeping them? Well, you can't. It's impossible. How are you going to bottom out with those 2 guys on your team? So you're just going to give them away? What about those other high-priced contracts? What are you doing with them? What about a guy like Tanner Jeannot? Are you keeping him through the process? Or are you trading him away too?
Well,
what's your plan?
Look, the plan is complicated, and no matter what you choose as your plan, it's hard. That was the theme of David Poyle yesterday. Say what you will, okay? And if you want to just look at one soundbite or one quote and take it from there, then that's one thing. But if you really listen to the entire press conference, as we did, he said a lot, right? It was a philosophical discussion. It was in depth. They weren't skirting how they have tried to go about it. I don't think there's any, like I've said from the start, I don't think there's any mistaking what the plan has been. And David shared his philosophy. I think you could argue, you know the old saying, Darren, your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. And I feel like that's probably something you can apply to David Poyle. He said it yesterday. My philosophy is to be good every year, for better or worse.
Well,
that's his philosophy.
That's what started the conversation.
Because
people are like, how could David think like that? David's like, we're absolutely not tearing this down.
He puts you in the mix every year. Some years you have more of a loaded team than others. He started to get into it the other day. Like, in my mind, you have to only judge him since the salary cap came in, because that's when they have been on a level playing field. So that's since 2005. Before that, they were an expansion team in a non-salary cap in a tiny market. They had no chance. So throw those years out. But since then, since they've been on a level playing field, they've been in the mix almost every year, 15 out of the 18 seasons. They've made it to the playoffs. Now, if you think that, how do you judge that? Is that good? Is it bad? Whatever. Now, his philosophy is, I want to get into the mix every year. And what his argument has been is some years we have a better chance to win than others. Some years, while we're trying to shuffle, and he said, he made an interesting point yesterday. He goes, everybody's always constantly building and rebuilding and reloading. That's life in the salary cap. You always have difficult choices. And some have a philosophy of, okay, look, we have no choice. We got to break it down. We're going to be bad, so let's be bad and build it back up. Others have a different approach. But his approach has been, I want to have a good team every year, and when the ducks are in a row, we have a chance to win it. In my mind, and I think in his mind too, it's happened twice. At the beginning of the salary cap, when they had Thomas Vokoun and they had Paul Correa and they had a lot of homegrown guys that were coming into their own, like a young Shea Weber, a young Ryan Suter, they had a chance to win it. And unfortunately, they didn't, right? That was heartbreaking. When you look back on it, that stunk because they were the higher seed. There were reasons by it. One year, Thomas Vokoun couldn't play in the playoffs when he was a phenomenal goalie. And then the second year, a lot of guys got hurt at the wrong time. And then the other time was, of course, when they came on the cusp of winning it in 2017 and then came back the next year as the President's Trophy. Other than that, they've all had good teams, but they haven't ever broken it all the way down. So, again, greatest strength, greatest weakness, that's the philosophy.
Yep. John on our text line, John from Nashville on our text line, says tanking to get a generational player isn't guaranteed. Look at Buffalo. They got Jack Eichel. Now he's in Vegas, and they're still rebuilding. How many years have they been rebuilding? It's been like a decade. Look, all that being said, we've said that. Like, you can – I don't have a problem with if people believe that. Like, okay, then the response that we've talked about on the show is, okay, but there's no guarantees, exactly what John said in the text. There's none that it's going to work. But, okay, that's fine. But I'm not even talking about that. Like, I'm pushing it. Like, I want to know, like, we've had fun at your expense about the plan, which has gotten your juices flowing, which is great for the show. But I just want to know, what's your plan to tear it down? What are you doing with your current roster? That's what I want to know. Like, just throwing that out there, okay, fine. Then what are you doing? Everybody wants the guy that you've got in UC Saros, and yet you're just going to what? Give him away? Everybody wants a guy like Roman Josi in the league. You're going to do what? Just give him away? Or are you going to just let him just sit there and rot on this team? Well, no, you're not going to do that because, one, you're not going to truly be able to bottom out with those guys. I don't understand the people that still are confused why David is saying that from yesterday and then coming back with, how could he say that? This team needs to be torn down and start over and try to get that generational player. Well, sure, they would love a generational player. Just all of us would love to see a generational player here in Nashville. That'd be great. But what are you going to do with the current roster that you have? So you're just going to give up on your – everybody wants to have that guy. Like I said, I'm going to equate it to a quarterback in the NFL. He's not Mahomes. He's not Rodgers. But he may be Josh Allen. So if you have Josh Allen in net, what are you going to do with him? Just give him away? You're just going to trade him? Like, hey, all right, we're just going to, we'll just stick Connor Ingram back there or whatever. Go get another backup, just a journeyman, stick him in there. Like, that's your – so you have whoever you identify as one of the best defensemen, best guy on defense in the league. Aaron Donald, I don't know, pick somebody who you believe is right there at the top. Isn't that Roman Josi? So you've got that guy too on defense. You're just going to what? Again, just give him away? You can't let him sit there and rot. You can't keep him. So you're just going to give him away. You have that guy. Again, a guy everybody wants, and you're just going to what? Give him away? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you're just going to trade him for draft picks. That's it. Just call it a day. I don't understand that why you would want that plan. And again, what I've said from jump, if that's your idea and that's what you would like for them to do, I'll come back with, okay, with all that being said, now you just like scrap the whole roster. There's nobody that sells tickets. You're going to still buy tickets? You're still going to watch. You're going to still listen to the broadcast on this radio station? You're still going to turn on the television and watch Willie and Chris Mason? Really? Doesn't sound like a great business plan to me, because my guess is a lot of you are like, yeah, I'll see you when you get good again. It's not a very good business model. Unless if you don't understand that, I guess you've never been in business. That doesn't make any sense to me. All right. By the way, we'll be talking about this with Justin Bradford at 1 o'clock. Penalty Box Radio, they just did their last show. So we'll talk to Justin to begin the final hour. You just made the list at high noon. We'll have fun with that today as well. Former big league pitcher Jared Parker will join us on the other side here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hey, this is Andrew Allegretta, voice of the Vandy Boys. Listen to the Commodore Hour every Monday at 6 p.m. during the baseball season. Kevin Ingram and I talk with Coach Corbin and special guests on ESPN 94.9 and streaming on the VU Commodores mobile app.
Empire Auto Parts has opened a brand new location in Nashville, Tennessee. They're hosting a hiring event with giveaways, sign-on bonuses, and more happening at Holiday Inn Express at the Crossings, 201 Crossings Place, May 16th through 20th from 9 a.m. to noon or 2 to 5. Empire Auto Parts offers hourly pay, full benefits, 401k matching, and more. Current job openings for warehouse associate, delivery drivers, customer service agents, account managers, and dispatchers. Apply now on Indeed at Empire Auto Parts Inc. Jobs or visit their website at EmpireAutoParts.com.
Out on the trail today, I noticed the signs of spring. A purple lilac, a monarch butterfly, crisp, cool air, and fresh, bright sunshine. And all this beauty puts me in the mood to head over to my favorite adult beverage depot, Red Spirits and Wine, where I can load up the wagon with the best wines, whiskey, and brews to wet my whistle. At Red, you'll always find the best selection and value, but their Cracker Jack crew is flat out second to none. Just square-dealing folks and straight shooters with great recommendations, and they never come off like some of those big-talking fancy pantsers that are just totally full of, well, let's just say fertilizer. Red Spirits and Wine is the only place I do my trading, and once you've seen Red, there just ain't no sense in looking elsewhere. It's like British pop singer Billy Ocean once said, no more love on the run. Red Spirits and Wine is the real deal. Open 7 days a week at Highway 70 South and Old Hickory Boulevard. And follow Red on Facebook and Instagram as well. We'll see you at Red.
Introducing the first Nashville location of Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Midtown. Perfect for all fitness levels. Join a community that will help every person unleash their inner champ with fun, effective, and empowering group boxing circuit workouts. Become a founding member today. Stop by the brand new studio in Midtown at 2041 Broadway, Suite C, or call 629-206-9092 to join the family exclusive. Pre-opening rates now available. Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, the gold standard in boxing fitness.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Now, it looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Sunday night. The best of the best in the NASCAR Cup Series head to Texas for the All-Star Race. Coverage begins at 4
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's up, Nashville? This is Stephen A. Smith. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Back here on the DDC, Darren McFarland and Willie Donick here with us on this Friday morning. Wow, what a gorgeous day here in Nashville. Tim Hasselback coming up at 11 o'clock. Music is appropriate. Former big league pitcher Jared Parker is on the line with us, and we're going to tell you what he's doing. He lives here in town. Jared, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing this morning?
Doing fantastic. How did you decide, like about everybody else who's moved to Nashville, to make this your home after baseball?
Yeah, I mean, I had done a few rehab assignments with the Nashville Sounds when I was coming back from a couple of injuries, and Nashville is one of those destinations, and I had gotten hurt in 2016, so kind of had the liberty to move where I can heal. So we, like I think everybody else, we packed a bag to come to Nashville for 3 or 4 days, and then end up turning around, going home, and packing them all up.
Yeah, honk if you've heard that story before in this market. So what are you doing right now involving the sport? Because I know you're heavily involved in baseball and youth baseball here in Nashville.
Yeah, kind of touching all the aspects and just keeping in my lane per se. But 2018, I opened a facility in Berry Hill, Parker Sports Performance, where we do majority baseball, softball, skill training. We have weight room. We have turf facility where we're able to kind of do it all. We also have classrooms that were donated by the Players Alliance, the program David Price and Tony Kemp are involved with. So we're fortunate to have some resources like that, as well as we've been a part of the expansion initiative with Major League Baseball. Ro Coleman and myself, Ro's my business partner, kind of partner in crime in all this, and he's kind of the connection that's made this thing in Nashville go a little quicker for me with all the resources and network he had built. But now we've become the official youth foundation for the Nashville Stars, and we have 3 summer teams right now that we're operating out of our program with a 17U group, 13s, and 10U.
Yeah, a kid that picked up with us for a couple tournaments and was in the Tideway family for years, I believe, is with Donovan. He's playing for your 10U team.
Yes, I believe. Yeah, Donovan Davis is on our group. He's got a huge arm.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yeah, I've seen him throw kids out at first on hits to the outfield. So, yes, he's got a cannon. It's a great family. So, good for you guys. What do you see, Jared, that, I see Willie's lived it with his son who's now older, but because I see this all the time because, you see all the travel ball sites and just the constant chatter of, what's the right thing to do, what's the not the right thing to do. You're the guy who's lived it. And so everybody has an opinion, but a lot of times opinions are, no offense, but they never played to the level that you did. When it comes to pitching and young arms, what is some of the constant questions you get asked, or maybe things that you would like to talk about that people need to take note of?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a multitude of variables we can discuss. But I think at the youth level, it's really important for these baseball players to be athletes. I mean, I'm sure everybody that you bring on here that's competed at the highest level played multiple sports. And if they did, they were, an athlete in baseball. It wasn't just I honestly didn't know what a PO was until I got into this amateur circuit. I'm like, oh, it's a put out, sweet. I don't know what a pitcher only was. So I'm sitting here trying to figure that out, as well as just, being with my background, I'm over cautious with building these guys up and being smart with pitch counts and never pushing them. I guess I'm fortunate to realize the baseball knowledge that I learned along the way to understand high leverage innings, long innings, sitting down for a while, just stuff that affects these kids and the human body that kind of happens just inside the game. So I think having a grasp on that and helping these kids to understand that it's not, just to throw the baseball. There's a whole foundation of movement and, activity and running, jumping, sprinting, everything you can possibly do, it applies to baseball. I think the nowadays kids all want to specialize, but there's a way to do it and be special. I think, it's continuing to be a teammate of all other sports. It helps to build your character. It helps to teach you responsibility. There's integrity involved when your coach is turned around. How, what kind of person are you? I think that's like the main focus for Ro and I is just, obviously the health and the fitness and the physical stuff we have a grasp on and we really focus on. But for us, it's creating that, mentorship, but like, mental warriors that are kind of able to lead their peers, but also are constantly grasping for more knowledge. I think we always offer that as a key is like, closed mouths don't get fed around here. There's a lot of resources and there's a lot of people with knowledge that are more than willing to give it out. I think everyone in our program wants the kids in our program to succeed more than we do. And I think that's where our efforts kind of run wild and, whether it's quiet or not, that's what we're about.
Jared Parker is with us. Great stuff that he's doing here in our community with young baseball players. Jared, one thing that, I observe a lot, and that is how much, just specific to pitching, how much velocity is something that is valued, chased, and I see every year, it seems like at the big league level on down, you watch college baseball, it seems like more and more kids are able to throw harder. Give us your philosophy on that. In how what's the right way to attain and try to grow in the velocity department? And are we getting a little too carried away with velocity at younger ages? Is there a price to be paid there?
I think there's definitely a price to be paid. I mean, we're seeing more growth plate injuries, more bone fractures, more stuff that is a direct result of overloading a kid. I mean, it's I don't need a medical degree. I've been in plenty of rehab therapy environments to learn and ask the questions to where this makes sense. I think to train to throw harder and like you said, chase velocity. We're not really about that. I think for us, it's chasing consistency. If you're consistent and you're buying into this program that's, it's constantly evolving. We know that with sports and sports medicine, but it's something if you're consistently doing the things that are baseball specific and, almost prescribed for you as a player and pitcher, those are the results you're going to gain. We're big on not chasing that in-game result. It's kind of like taking care of each and every day, 1% a day. If you can get better for us, is like one of our main goals to get these kids to stop thinking so much about chasing a number or a stat or an average or home runs. It's more or less just chasing consistency.
Well, that's it. I wish more people would would join forces with you on that. I completely agree with you, Jared. So, What do you see in terms of the hunger and the game of baseball trying to capture as many people as you can? That's something from the top down that I think all of us who love the game would like to see, is that maybe a renewed interest from a lot of different layers of any particular city and across the country, more people wanting to play the game. It seems like baseball's finally trying to do some things with the pace of play, the action plays, the things like that. Where do you see it going from here?
I'm a nerd, so I'm going to say, I see this metaverse Web3, kind of that whole getting more people that aren't sports fans able to, whether they're watching games or they're a part of the experience, in essence, it's really creating that updated fan experience where it's not, popcorn, get your popcorn, that kind of stuff is, it's kind of played out. So I think it's finding, Japan does it right with a lot of their events and their, home run derbies and their competitive skill stuff to show off the true skills that set, the 1% to 2% of baseball players aside at the highest level is something that I think would draw a huge attention. We obviously love watching highlights and that's where our attention goes. So let's show what the highlights are built, how these guys can hit the ball wherever they want every single time. It's not that, that's the case. These guys are skilled beyond just a simple result or a stat. So I think it kind of goes back to what our motto is creating exciting baseball, but doing it where, the fans are involved. The experience is community. I think it's growth and not creating so much separation of baseball. The top is broke, the travel ball system's broke. So it's finding some some sort of bridge to narrow that gap of America's pastime becoming America's future.
Yeah, good stuff. Jared, really appreciate you coming on. We'll do it again. Man, we could pick your brain on a lot of things, and the summer months are the perfect time to do it, especially with baseball in full swing. Good luck with everything moving forward. Keep up the good work in our community, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Appreciate you having me, guys.
All right, that is former big league pitcher Jared Parker joining us, and you just heard it. Did a rehab stint with the Sounds. He was in the A's organization here in Nashville, and like a lot of people said, you know what, this place is pretty cool. I think I'm going to move here. And now
gotta love that.
He lives here.
Trying to make things better for a lot of people, not just build baseball players, but it sounds like he's got something bigger in mind. And you got to be, if you don't know Ro Coleman's story, the guy he's working with that he referred to, that's a great story too. Played on the national championship team for the Commodores back in 2014. Had an outstanding career. That's another guy that's in it for more than just what happens on the field. That's great stuff they're doing.
Yep. We'll come back, wrap up the first hour of the DDC next.
Hey, this is Matt Duchene, and this is Smashville.
Drummond down the left side with Duchene. Duchene scores! Matt Duchene with the overtime winner.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Near record heat here on our Friday. High temperatures climbing to 93 degrees, mainly sunny, and a little mugginess to go with that. Overnight tonight will stay mainly clear. Low temperatures right near 70 degrees.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Ford South. Have you ever seen a commercial for something that they build up to be amazing, only to be completely disappointed? You have these high expectations, and then boom, all the wind taken from your sails. The product isn't what you expected, and you end up feeling let down and maybe even lied to. Sound familiar? So many car dealers promise more than they can deliver, and you end up with extra fees, and your payments end up higher than you expected. You don't get that when you shop at Newton. The price you see on the site is the price you pay at the store. You can even work your deal online with Newton FastPass. We want all our customers to have a VIP buying experience. You don't have to take our word for it. Hundreds of our customers leave reviews online each month talking about our honest and transparent buying experience. The proof is in the pudding. Come see for yourself. Shop and buy online with Newton FastPass at newtonfordsouth.com. See website for details, Pudding Pop, Bomb Pop, kingofpop.org.net.com.edu.
People who suffer from long-term chronic joint pain spend so much of their time acting, putting up a carefree front. It's exhausting.
I was really tired of trying to act like I wasn't in pain because I was in pain all the time.
Rick Rawlings didn't want everyone else to know that he was coping with agonizing shoulder pain 24/7.
Yes, I had to put on a face to cover up my pain.
But then Rick found QC Kinetics, offering new lasting treatments for joint pain using natural biologics. Treatments designed to restore and repair joint tissue with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The results were amazing.
I am very glad. It changed my life doing the QC Kinetics. Today, my shoulders feel wonderful. The cranky Rick is gone. He's not grouchy anymore.
No more acting. Feel like yourself again with a call to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024.
Nashville is growing, and so are we. The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officer trainees. Starting pay is $38,300. After 8 weeks paid training, earn $41,767. Come join our team and ask about our new paid job shadowing program. Join the best in correction. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. That's 615-862-8170. The Nashville Sheriff, we're more than corrections.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way. I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry.
Back here on the DDC, good stuff from Jared Parker. Enjoyed that. I just love that. Again, the hidden gem, right, of all these guys who played in the major leagues that just live here. I hear, Willie, and I'm sure you do too, I hear names all the time. I'm like, what? They live here? Yeah. I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to stop being surprised. By the way, Jared Parker's been here for years. He didn't just move here. But it's just amazing. And, you've watched, just like me, over the last 25 years, just how this market has grown, right, when it comes to that sport. And certainly Tim Corbin exposed how good this market really was, right? The hidden gem that it had become. Now everybody knows it. Now Tony Vitello and everybody else is trying to get in here and get these recruits. But look at how many kids came out of this area, out of the Middle Tennessee area, to go on and play high-level Division I baseball. It's amazing.
It's quite the fraternity. It's been pretty awesome. And what's great for our community is the larger that number gets, as those guys finish up playing and move forward, they're only going to help the game of baseball grow in our area. And there's just a lot to be taught to the next generation. So, I mean, that's just great for our community. It still is amazing to me. I was thinking about this the other day. I went and watched Vanderbilt play Middle Tennessee. MTSU's having a pretty good year. And what's cool about it, and it's not that different from what they've always done, but I always like to see a good baseball team that's comprised of mostly kids that played in the mid-state, their high school. Mm-hmm. If you look at their roster, it's sprinkled all over with Spring Hill and Riverdale and just on down the list of teams in our listening area. That's where the vast majority of their players played. So that's cool, and they're doing well. So that means the product, the group, the way the game's being taught, we're producing a lot of good players in our area. That's cool.
Well, we've seen, how many times have we been covering the Little League World Series and, the teams that come out of here, which has been, again, a lot of fun.
Yeah. In fact, there was one of those that was watching. He was playing second base for Middle Tennessee the other night.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Snyder
for MTSU, yes.
His mom used to work for the Predators. I remember when Chris Mercado was coaching that group. It just seems like yesterday that they were in Williamsport. Now, a lot of those guys are playing college ball right now.
We might have a pitching matchup in Vandy LSU Saturday between two of the South Nashville Williamsport guys, Chris McIlvain for Vandy and Blake Money for LSU. LSU
good.
still hasn't announced a starter, so I'm hoping they go with the two Summit boys.
Oh, man, that would be awesome. Yeah, high school teammates, is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Both went to Summit. Chris definitely did.
Yeah, Blake did for sure.
Yeah.
I've known Blake since he was that age, because his younger brothers were playing
Cash
with my
money.
son. Yeah,
Cash money.
Logan
the
and
star
Cash.
of the Little League World Series.
Awesome.
Did anybody see yesterday's afternoon game at Coors Field between the Rockies and the Giants?
I was watching the Mets, so I did not.
The fair ball that went down the line to the ball boy, he picked it up and threw it in the stands.
Oh, it was a fair ball?
Yeah, Giants outfielder came over and was like, what are you doing, man?
I've seen a couple clips lately where a kid gets a foul ball.
Actually, it was the Rockies. It was
it's the Rockies ball boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was the Rockies outfielder that came over.
Did they give it a ground rule double? How did they score that?
Yeah, I would assume so. And it would not have been I don't think it would have been a double.
Ouch.
They probably award, yes.
I've seen the clips lately where a youngster gets a foul ball, he gets really excited, then he chucks it back onto the field.
Well, that video has been out there too recently, where they got the home run ball and he gave it to his kid, and the kid just threw it right out into the field.
It seems like it's happened multiple times. Like what's happening? I guess kids just love to throw. That didn't used to happen, or maybe at least it wasn't caught on tape.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what changed things. I don't know. Good stuff, though, from Jared Parker. We'll come back and get Tim Hasselbeck on the other side. We'll talk a little NFL with him. We haven't had a chance to catch up with Tim this week. But first, before we do that, I'm going to talk to you about my friends at Cool Springs MD. You've heard me talk about them for a good while now, and I know a lot of you have checked them out. A lot of you are going there because they're helping you become healthier and happier too. They're improving your quality of life, and who doesn't want that? I know I do. That's why I've been going there. Weight loss management may be something on your mind right now with the warm temperatures and the pools opening. Hey, maybe you'd like to shed a couple unwanted pounds. Well, they've got programs and products and people. We've got a very experienced staff there that can get you back on track and headed in the right direction. Rejuvenation, your appearance is important, and it becomes challenging as we age. Well, their staff can talk about PRP, hair removal, and Botox, and finally hormone therapy. Have you had your levels checked? Have you been feeling off lately? You had maybe haven't had the same drive or the same energy or experiencing mood swings, and you're like, what the heck is going on? Well, may need to talk to their staff about BHRT, testosterone, estrogen. That can affect you when your levels go down. These are just some of the things they do under one roof. It's a state-of-the-art facility there in Cool Springs at 1642 Westgate Circle. If you need to learn everything about them, just go to their website, coolspringsmd.com, where you can always pick up the phone, schedule an appointment or a consultation by dialing this number, 615-283-7291. That's 283-7291.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
From elegant to contemporary, Social Furniture has it all. And right now, get no interest financing on any purchase through Memorial Day. Save hundreds, even thousands on top brand name bedroom suites, living room and dining sets. Thousands of combinations in stock, ready for immediate delivery. All colors and styles are designer brand names, such as Woodhouse, Sealy, Serta, Kincaid, Bernhardt, Stearns & Foster, and Bassett. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture opens 7 days a week on the west side on Charlotte Avenue in the Richland Creek Shopping Center.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Marquis. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Avoid biking in the rain and never touch another person's bike.
Hey guys, look at these bikes. So shiny. Whoops. I'm gonna leave a note. Oh gosh, there's more.
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.
Bring your hive together with Spirited Hive. It's Hive O'Clock. What is Hive O'Clock? It's connecting or celebrating with your hive, a time to be present and create shared memories. At Spirited Hive, we become aficionados discerning what goes best with bourbon, tequila, and vodka in a canned cocktail. Bourbon whiskey with rosemary infused with honey and lemon, tequila ginger infused with honey and lime, or vodka cranberry infused with honey and lime. Available to purchase on reservebar.com or tap room for delivery within the hour. Join us at Spirited Hive on Instagram to see what the buzz is all about.
Nashville's own Big Machine Distillery welcomes you to the inaugural Tennessee Whiskey Trail Experience to celebrate International Tennessee Whiskey Day on May 21st. Tickets are limited, so get them now at tnwhiskeytrailexperience.com. Tickets include tastings from 30 Tennessee Whiskey Trail distilleries, a Glencairn glass, food pairings, live music, cigar lounge, and you can buy bottles to go. Educational and mixology classes earlier too. May 21st, tnwhiskeytrailexperience.com.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Nissan. Have you ever seen a commercial for something that they build up to be amazing, only to be completely disappointed? You have these high expectations, and then boom, all the wind taken from your sails. The product isn't what you expected, and you end up feeling let down and maybe even lied to. Sound familiar? So many car dealers promise more than they can deliver, and you end up with extra fees, and your payments end up higher than you expected. You don't get that when you shop at Newton. The price you see on the site is the price you pay at the store. You can even work your deal online with Newton FastPass. We want all our customers to have a VIP buying experience. You don't have to take our word for it. Hundreds of our customers leave reviews online each month talking about our honest and transparent buying experience. The proof is in the pudding. Come see for yourself. Shop and buy online with Newton FastPass at newtonnissan.com. See website for details, Pudding Pop, Bomb Pop, kingofpop.org.net.com.edu.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Informative conversation while you work. This is the DDC. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Second hour on this Friday. Hope everybody's having a good start to your day, or yeah.
Get your sexy on.
He had so much good information this week that he needed to wait till Friday. He's been gathering all week. Tim Hasselbeck, our man, we are ready, and I hope he's ready, because the build-up for this hit this week, having to wait till Friday, it's tough, but we're here. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, now our man Tim Hasselbeck. Tim, what's going on?
What's up? How are you guys?
Doing fantastic.
There's a lot of build-up. By the way, that was a nice little setup. Yeah, I hope you're off to a start to your
day. That you may have been up for like 5 hours. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you probably haven't started your day at 11, but, whatever. You get the gist of it.
Hey, it was good. I figured you were, maybe setting lineups for this weekend or something.
That's during the break.
Okay.
I want to
go
ask
easy on the
you,
arms, man. Go easy on the arms.
I know. We just talked to Jared Parker, so I'm definitely going to keep that in mind for sure. Got to go at 10. Got to go easy on the arms. So speaking of going easy, we've been talking about this week. There's a lot to do of, carries and workload. And look, that is very prevalent in sports today, right? We kind of have a new mindset about preserving professional athletes. But I want Coach Hasselbeck to answer this, because I when we talked about it this week, and now there's a story out there that the Titans are considering a Derrick Henry extension, but your guy Bill Barnwell's already put out an article, is Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey and Ezekiel Elliott, are all these guys going to bounce back and be those backs that we've seen in the past, or are they starting to be on the back end of their career and everything else, so with injuries and workload. How do you handle this? Because here's the tough spot that Mike Vrabel's in, and this is why I'm asking Coach Hasselbeck. How do you limit Derrick Henry when he's your best option? And, oh, by the way, the only way Derrick Henry can get paid as an athlete and you keep him happy is to give him the workload, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he's not as valuable, if he has 280 carries, he can't demand big money. He can't demand certain things. So how do you handle that dynamic?
Yeah, so here's how I would handle this is, I would really appeal and convince the player, because I think it's the right thing for the team and for the player to be playing his best football later in the year when it matters the most, right? There's always this talk about when you train for a season, like you shouldn't peak at the start of training camp. That's not the point. The point is, to try to peak when the games matter the most. So, I think as it relates to that on a season-long perspective, what you would want is you would want Derrick Henry to not be worn out when you're playing the most critical games, whether it's at the end of the regular season because it's seeding or winning your division and postseason. You want him feeling great then. So with that in mind, like the idea that hey, weeks 1 through 8, he needs to, have 27 touches a game. I don't think you want to do that. I really don't. Now you're trying to win the games. And maybe some games he is going to have 27 touches. And then, other games, it's like, well, you know what? He had 14 and we're okay with that. If you can, if it's not costing you wins and losses. So I think there's that aspect of a season and management in a season. From the perspective of the career, I just think the gloves are off. Like, the running back position is a, there's only so much tread on the tire position. And, for lack of a better way to put it, you run them into the ground and then you get new tires. It's just, that's what you do.
Right,
and
but that's two different philosophies. So that's
no,
what
it
I'm
is,
saying.
But I think but no. But I think this. I think on a season-long perspective, you can say, look, we're going to get to whatever the number is, 300 and something carries. Like, we're going to get there, okay? But it's going to look more like a J curve than, just steady Eddie all the way through the season with the number of touches and stuff, okay?
Okay.
But you're going to get to the number. You're going to get to the 300-plus wear and tear number. And so I think in doing that, you basically operate with the understanding of, look, there's a shelf life to the position. And so what I'm saying to you is how I would handle it in the season is this, and then how I would handle it in terms of the front office meetings, I would say let us, like, I'm fine being wrong if he had 4 more good years in him. Like, I'm fine if he ends up being the next Adrian Peterson and we let him out the door. I'm okay doing that. Like, that's the position I would take.
Okay.
On that.
Tim,
So,
you're the coach of the Colts. Okay, so he's going into his 3rd year. So that means the prime. I mean, he's not even in the prime, or maybe he is, as a running back. Going into his 3rd year. Jonathan Taylor is in the Titans division. He had 332 carries last year for over 1,800 yards, 18 touchdowns. And, oh, by the way, throwing his receptions and his receiving yards, he has over 2,000 total yards and 20 touchdowns. Are you scaling back in year 3? Are you doing the same workload? Or are you doing more?
Yeah. No. So what I'm doing is he's my workforce. Plain and simple. They just signed Philip Lindsay too, right? So, he'll have a role.
But what is he? What is he?
But listen, here's the deal. He's the workhorse, okay? So whatever the number is, 330, 350, 360, 310, like whatever the number is, I'm running him into the ground, okay? Now, again, I don't want him having, 27 touches, per game through the first half of the season. I don't want that. I'm fine with him touching it 18 times or less.
What if you can't win that way?
Yeah, I think you can. Like, listen, go look at. I mean, the Titans have won games. It's not like the Titans don't win games when Derrick Henry rushes it, 17 times. Like, they still can win games. But what I'm saying is I'm just aware of it. But like what I'm doing, like Jonathan Taylor, like, he's going to get over 300 and something carries for me, over 300 and probably 50, 60 touches. Like, I'm going to do that. And then you know what else is going to happen? His deal's going to be up, and I'm not signing him to a long-term deal. I'm not doing it. And he's an amazing player, and he's going to have more good years in front of him. But I don't want to be saddled with the contract of a running back who had a Liz Frank and then had a knee and then had I'm not getting in that game.
Talking to Tim Hasselbeck, and Tim, in a bigger sense, we've tried to tackle that issue, and I noticed what's the first thing I'm seeing on the NFL page on ESPN.com? R. McCaffrey, Henry, Kamara, Elliott done as star running backs. Like, this is the way of life in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Can you have a bounce back after a certain amount of time? There seem to be a lot of questions on Derrick Henry, and then on top of that, you have a total redefinition of roles in the passing game. So look at that angle of it. How, just specifically with Treylon Burks, there's a lot on his shoulders here, and he's starting from scratch. You've got another player in Robert Woods who's coming off a major injury that you're going to be counting on. That seems like a lot that has to come together here.
Completely agree. Loved the Robert Woods signing at the time because it's like, wow, like the guy's just, I think it helps the passing game. Like, plain and simple, an established receiver. The injury stinks, but because of what we've seen guys do with ACLs, like, you think, you know what, like, I think we'll be okay. And at the time, you're thinking A.J. Brown is here, and it's like I like this. I like this combo way more than than the Julio Jones combo, the year prior. But now you add the newness of him coming off of an injury, and now you add a first round wide receiver. And I think I've mentioned this to you before. And A.J. Brown he's the number one receiver. Treylon Burks, for all the comparisons to A.J. Brown, and that's fantastic. And I even give you this perspective. I maybe shared this with you. My brother was at the Combine. He actually called me from the Combine. It's kind of out of character for him. He called me at the Combine, and he's like, there's this receiver here from Arkansas. I love this guy. And so, he might be amazing. He might be absolutely amazing. For my brother at the Combine to single him out as somebody that he thought was super impressive. This guy could be incredible. But the hit rate for first-round wide receivers, meaning the first-round wide receiver gets to a second contract, is essentially it's the worst position in terms of hit rate that exists. It's
really?
Under 30%. I think it's 27%. Yes. And so the hit now the best is offensive line. In fact, interior offensive line, center and guard. But the hit rate for wide receivers is 27%.
And these are wide receivers drafted, period?
In the first round. So here's the threshold.
Okay.
Wide receivers drafted in the first round that get a second contract with the team that drafted them.
With the team that drafted.
So, yeah. And so listen, is it a perfect formula? No. But is it a really good formula to figure out, was he Kevin White or was he Megatron? Yeah, it is. It's a good formula to figure that out.
Okay, and this goes back how many years now?
It goes back. I'd have to look at it. Somebody sent it to me, but it's a 15, 20-year study.
Okay, so that to me is that's an interesting part of it because I think a lot of people are hopeful that receivers are being taught better coming through now. I don't know if that's the case. These are just theories that are thrown there. That might be easier to get NFL-ready wide receivers now as opposed to 10 years ago, but it's still you point out the numbers are the numbers.
Well, and so think of it, Jamar Chase. So everyone's like, okay, well look at that, and you just look at some of these young receivers that have kind of burst onto the scene. Justin Jefferson, you name it. These young guys have come in, and it's been like, wow, these young guys are really great. But that's such a tiny sample size that we just start looking at the last 3 years, and it's like, hey, it worked out. And look, maybe the theory is, look, all these 7-on-7 leagues, guys are coming into the league more ready to be pass catchers. Maybe true, but if you look at a bigger data sample, the reality is that first round wide receivers get missed on a lot. So look, I hope the Titans hit on Treylon Burks. Every highlight you watch, you're like, man, this dude's going to be a really, really good player. But it's unlikely. It's the best way I can put it. It is unlikely that he will be as good as A.J. Brown. It just is. So Willie, I think you're on it in terms of, okay, running back getting older, got a guy coming off an ACL, got a receiver that, it's unlikely that he's going to be as good as the guy that he's replacing. The quarterback is already under fire. Offensive line wasn't a good pass blocking offensive line a year ago. There are a lot of things that have to come together. I agree.
Concern for sure. I'd love to see, Tim, a study on whether the trend has gone up, stayed the same in the last, say, 5 years, as we talked about this development of the 7-on-7 and stuff like that. That's a really fascinating stat there. But I want to ask you one more before we let you go. We have had some fun with you over the years. Your experience in NFL Europe, you had a good experience, right? It helped you. So give us your objective.
It helped me.
Yeah. So give us your objective view of how the USFL is going here. I haven't watched it that much. There's so much going on for me. I just haven't had a chance. I'm rooting for it. Of course, it pulls at my heartstrings because I did watch the original USFL a lot as a kid. But is it serving its purpose? Can it survive?
Yeah, so I think it's probably too early to tell if it's serving its purpose. I actually turned some on the other day. I think there were replays. And it wasn't, just being real, empty stadiums, not a ton of energy. Did it feel? did it feel like, wow, this is about to hit? No, it didn't feel that way. And I can tell you my experience in NFL Europe was, we'd play in Frankfurt and there'd be 45,000 people there. We'd play in Barcelona and there might be, 5,000 people there. And so, it really varied city by city. And I think with it being year one, all the games being played in one spot, they're not necessarily, the ability for a city to, try to connect, or a team to connect with the city that they're in, because that can go a long way. I mean, look at, like, for example, and I know it's not apples to apples here, but like, look at the way the Sounds, try to reach the community here in Nashville. Well, like, that's got to be an important component of it for, for any of these teams, in their cities when they are operating in their cities. So, and I think there's two separate factors. The idea that, like, hey, is this going to help a player, achieve his dream of playing in the NFL? Like, yes, because your other option is not playing. Like, so, and I don't know that it's going to be a quarterback or a running back or whatever it may be, but like, look, Kurt Warner, Brad Johnson, those guys won, are Super Bowl, are in the Super Bowl as quarterback, Jake Delhomme, like all those guys. So I can't tell you that Kyle Sloter is going to end up, doing that, but at least it's giving him, it's keeping the dream alive for it. And I think that, that will help it survive, but I think ultimately it's going to be how the businesses get managed and how they engage in their communities that really, tell the tale of whether or not, it's going to work.
Tim, if you want to come this weekend and support Tidal Wave Blue, I'll get your gate fee,
Hey, listen.
I'll take care of your gate
you're
fee.
Not. I got to get used to Tidal Wave Blue. It doesn't roll off the tongue the way Smyrna Braves.
I know. Well, we've got two Tidal Wave tenure teams, so we're blue.
What are you switching the name to next year?
We've had it this way for a good while. There's two.
Yeah, I
Tidal
know.
Wave
So
tenure
think of the revenue. Think of the revenue you're leaving on the table by doing that. Like,
I'll take care of your gate fees. Okay, I've got that kind of pull. You just let me know if you're coming.
Hey, listen. Hey, we're going down to Alabama to play. This
really?
Weekend, how do you think that's going to go? What we're going to do? We're going to drive to Alabama to play a team
from Smyrna
that lives 10 minutes away.
Yeah, exactly. Just get used to it. Get used to it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
How do you guys feel about that?
Yep.
Can we? Well, let's just remain for real.
In fact, it was funny, Tim, because just to show you this is not a new thing. I went to your brother. I didn't have a whole lot of contact with Matt when he was playing with the Titans, but his daughter was about the same age as my daughter, and we had a tournament in White House, Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's not that far, right? That's a little bit of a drive.
No.
But our team, his daughter was playing for the same club as my daughter. I was like, why? He was like, why did we have to go to White House to play those games? We could have just played right here. So I was like, this is how it goes.
Why drive 10 minutes when you can drive 2 hours?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
Oh, good stuff. Tim, good luck in Bama. Roll Tide, roll. And we'll talk next week.
All right, see you, fellas.
Maybe we'll ask you about, if you could, look into the Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher feud while you're down there.
You know what? I'll go ask little Nicky if he remembers slapping your knee.
Yes, do that. And let's report back next week.
Okay. All right.
See you later.
Boys.
Tim Hasselbeck. He's a gem. Love talking to him. All right. Tell everybody about Loan Pronto.
All right. Let's talk Loan Pronto. Even if you've thought of moving, you probably haven't gotten very far. Once you start looking around at the prices of new homes right now. We see cranes going up. We see people moving to our listening area all the time. So it's not a great market right now if you're looking to upgrade and move to a different, bigger, better house, whatever that is in your mind. Not a lot of inventory. Price is crazy. Rates moving up. So this is what Loan Pronto has in store for you as maybe a better idea. Let them refinance your current home and turn the home equity you have into cash and then reinvest in your home, transforming your house with a new kitchen, new bathroom, outdoor living space, home office, whatever it is that you have in mind that you're looking for. Loan Pronto can help you unlock the equity you have and then do some amazing things turn your home into your dream home and never have to move. So call Loan Pronto and ask about their home improvement refi. It's a fast and easy process, and it can get you thousands of dollars out of home equity to reinvest. So call Loan Pronto right now. Skip your next house payment in the process. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Stomach Company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
He scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now, 615-576-5000.
The Ainsworth Nashville has been bringing a sophisticated twist to the classic all-American sports bar, restaurant, and private event experience in Midtown since 2018. Our multi-purpose venue consists of a full-scale restaurant, bar and lounge, and event space. Come for the wings, stay for our happy hour, and visit us for brunch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've got the good times to keep you singing all night long. The Ainsworth Nashville. Burgers, cocktails, sports.
Visit the Ainsworth at 206 21st Avenue South in Nashville or online at theainsworth.com.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Don't forget Sounds Baseball tonight, 94.9. Game 4 of the 6-game homestand against the Louisville Bats. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:20. First pitch at 6:35. Sounds Baseball on ESPN 94.9 is presented by 312 Pizza, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Spirited Hive. Back here on the DDC. Darren McFarland and Willie Donick here with you. Tim Hasselbeck, good stuff from him as always. Titans considering a Derrick Henry extension. Isn't that interesting after we've been talking about that this week?
Okay, I need to know more about when we hear this report of considering an extension. What does that mean?
It says, this is according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN.com, that the team is open to doing another deal with its star running back Derrick Henry. I guess he signed through 2023. He got a 4-year, $50 million extension, and right before that the franchise tag deadline, and it was just Jeremy Fowler putting out there on ESPN.com that the team is open, air quotes, to doing another deal with Derrick Henry.
Is that really a story? Like, open in what way?
Isn't it a story, though? I mean, we've just been talking about what is Derrick Henry moving forward and the curse of the 370, and we've been talking about it this week. That's why I thought it was very interesting that, oh, wow, this came out.
But that's a very non-specific thing. I'm trying to figure out what that could mean, okay? Because I don't.
Well, let me ask you something. How specific can you get with that topic?
Well, let's look at it. Basically, we have set the table for this. He is set to make $15 million against the cap this coming season.
Mm-hmm.
Is the idea that you get that cap number down and push the pile back? That doesn't sound like a really smart thing from my perspective. I just don't think Derrick Henry is going to be your running back for the next 4 years. I think you're looking at this year, next year. And that's kind of what his contract is designed to do, right? It's
based on the curse of 370? Or
based
just
on the workload of running
back
backs his age. It's not a curse, really. It's just the statistical performance of running backs at his age as they get older. I just don't think you can look 4 years down the road. Unless it's advantageous to the team. Is there something that if you knocked his cap space down, what could you do with that money? Are there people on the market right now you could go get that could improve your team? A veteran wide receiver, some other area that you think there are some guys out there? Then I guess in the short term that could help. But to me, unless that's the case, I think you're better off just biting the bullet. You've committed to him through the end of this year, and then you can sort of reevaluate at the end of it. Now, unless it's going to be, I've got a real unhappy Derrick Henry on my hands and he wants to hold out or something like that, is that what we're getting at here? Do
you really think Derrick Henry's that type?
No, I don't.
He's the A.J. Brown type.
I don't. I think Derrick Henry is fortunate to be making. He's probably been underpaid He's been underpaid the last few years, but I think he's going to have a hard time. He's going to have a great year to justify being worth $15 million just because relative to other running backs, teams don't pay running backs.
Yeah, well, they're not Derrick Henry, though. Derrick Henry's elite.
Derrick Henry has been elite.
Derrick Henry's different. Well, we don't. Why would you do past tense when you don't know? So you're assuming it's past tense. You're assuming that his better days are over.
Yes.
And now, better days as in, first of all, it's not fair to compare anybody to 2,000 yards. Is 1,400 yards this season a down year? Is he regressing?
Yes.
If he has 1,400 yards rushing?
Yes, that'd be. I would take that and never complain. If he had that would be great.
Well, you just said yes, as in they believe he's regressing. He's on the back end.
Yes, and he's under contract for this year for $15 million. But why would you redo his deal before that? Where does that serve the Titans? Because then you're saying you're kind of giving him an extension. What's your goal in reworking the deal? What would be your goal for the Titans?
Okay, I'm going to give you some of that answer on the other side.
Okay, because I want to hear that. I'm all ears if you can. But it sounds like you're playing the long game when you're talking about an extension. You're pushing money back rather than trying to take what you hope will be the last prime year or two of his career.
Okay. I will tell you all that on the other side because we'll discuss that a little bit further because here's what the Titans have to be careful of on the other side. Here on the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game and 106.3.
Want the latest on the Predators from the people that cover them?
Heck of a year so far for the Predators. They've been so much fun to watch.
Join Robbie Stanley for Preds Insiders every Monday at 6.
I feel probably as good about this group of 6 on D.
Presented by Dr. Kelly Rice on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Men, what if I told you that now you're able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMDformen.com.
Don't miss Nashville SC versus Atlanta United FC this Saturday, May 21st at 6:30 p.m. Come on into Geodis Park and get closer, bolder, and golder at Nashville SC's new home. Single match tickets are on sale now at NashvilleSC.com.
How'd you like that? So many times guests come in with pictures from Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook and are amazed that we have those rings in stock.
David Cooper, Vice President at Genesis Diamonds, talking about how Genesis stays on the cutting edge.
We pride ourselves of staying ahead of the curve of fashion and seeking what's new, what's hot all over the world, what's hot all over the internet, and having that in stock for you, where other stores are still chasing styles that were cool maybe 5 or 10 years ago.
Why settle for an outdated style or a stale design? Make the switch to Genesis and get the ring of her dreams with over 4,000 cutting-edge choices from the top bridal designers in the world.
We have the designer looks that you see everywhere in stock in a variety of metals, a variety of sizes and shapes, and a variety of budgets, so every customer can have exactly what they want.
Genesis Diamonds and pre-owned Rolexes.
We are so honored and proud that so many people have made the switch to Genesis Diamonds and not only told their friends about Genesis, but have brought their friends to Genesis.
Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Don't go through another summer with that awful joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now. Willie Donick here. That pain in your back, your knees, your shoulder, it can now be treated with the latest in precision medicine using natural biologic growth factors that can restore and repair damaged tissue. Really exciting stuff. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving you access right here to this modern-day joint pain solution. You can get lasting joint pain relief with no drugs, no steroids, no downtime, and no surgery. You may have heard Emmett Smith raving about QC Kinetics. You've read or seen other high-profile people talking about it. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics can help you get your life back. So take action now. Get a free consultation. Powerful, effective joint pain treatments with natural biologics are here. So call QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability. Z Series mowers and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Bring home the Kubota L2501 tractor for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 60 months, plus save up to $1,100 now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
2 locations to serve you, Columbia Kubota or Franklin Kubota. Visit them online at ColumbiaKubota.com or FranklinKubota.com.
Saturday.
See ya! And the Yankees lead 4-2. Well done, Yoan Moncada.
It's a battle in the American League as the White Sox take on the Yankees. Coverage begins at 11:30 a.m.
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Gary Bettman. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You just made the list coming up at high noon. Looking forward to that. Have your pleasures ready, okay, to pass along. Who or what has made you mad? That's coming up at noon. So here's where they need to be really careful with this, Willie, because there is an element of what we've been talking about in the past. So they've just traded away their #1 receiver, who was a fan favorite, that got a little wacky at the end and absolutely forced this trade. I'm just telling you. That's why I'm not going to hear about A.J. Brown being innocent in all this. I've talked to enough people. I've heard stuff that behind the scenes. He forced their hand. I mean, it came to the point where they didn't believe anymore that he wanted to be here. And there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes where John Robinson just had to say, look, I don't think we're going to be able to make this work. This has gone too far. And David Poyle is in those shoes right now. I don't believe it's the same negotiations because Philip Forsberg hasn't acted like A.J. Brown. Or at least I certainly haven't heard of anything. We know it's not happening on social media. It may get to that here in less than 2 months, but A.J. Brown forced that. But he was a fan favorite. He did sell tickets. He was their number one receiver. He was a big part of what they were doing. So he's gone. Now Treylon Burks is in the mix, and we're about to find out what he's all about, right? And he could soon be a fan favorite as well. But you have to keep guys that sell tickets. And, I mean, Derrick Henry is their most popular player. And, oh, by the way, Willie, he conducts his business in a professional manner.
He's awesome. He's the leader. He's the spiritual leader. He's the guy that makes the engine go. There's no question about that, but he's under contract. So why redo the contract?
Well, I mean, why did the Predators redo John Hines' contract?
They didn't redo it. They chose to.
They added another year. Why? They had a year just to pick it up. Why redo it?
Why is that comparable? Do you have Derrick Henry?
Well, I'm saying you have a contract in place. All you have to do is pick up a year. Well, there's no need to do anything either. But they did. Like, we don't see things. We don't see being proactive with players and tearing things up and doing things differently.
Okay,
I mean,
but
that
make the
all
argument for a running back in the NFL who is under contract. He's going to make $15 million against the cap this year. Next year, he's under contract, and he will make again 15.5 against the cap next year. So are you saying redo it and spread that money out over the next 3 years when he'll be over 30?
I think that anytime you're having a discussion like this and something like that is being put out there, they know, one, we've already talked about it, who's going to get the big payday this time next year?
Jeffrey Simmons.
Right? No one is going to push back on that, right? Like, they're not parting ways with Jeffrey Simmons, and unless for some reason this year he just turns to total crap, which, that's not going to happen. So they're going to have to give him the big bucks. They know that. That's coming. We've talked about the guys that are going to command high dollar, and he's next, and he is going to get the big contract. So, of course, there's a business angle to this. But I also think there is a reward for this as well. When you say, hey, he's been worth every penny. He's produced. He's the fan favorite. He sells tickets. And, oh, by the way, he goes about his business in a professional manner, which is, by the way, we talk about it all the time. You have to consider what a lot of people don't realize is things behind the scenes factor into this stuff.
I agree.
We've talked about Kevin Fiala. It's not just about Kevin Fiala on the ice. How many times do we have to bring it up? What goes on behind the scenes does matter.
Absolutely good point. Now, did we not have a very, very painful discussion about Eddie George when that time came for him? Because everything you just said about Derrick Henry was true for Eddie George. The consummate pro, the leader, the engine that drives the team. And it got to that point with Eddie George where they had to address the contract. So, look, if it's a reworking of the deal to get the number down, I can see that. But also that day will come. Once a guy hits 30, I'm just telling you, the odds are overwhelmingly against wanting to have a lot of money invested in a 30, 31-year-old running back. So as it stands now, you got 2 years left on the deal at a very high number. So it's a very intriguing thing. To me, what's the upside? Maybe the upside for Derrick Henry is I'd like to know from his angle, what's the upside for him? Is he getting more money up front in guarantees?
I think
what does it do to your salary cap next year and the year after? Mm-hmm. Because I think it's reasonable. He's going to decline. He's already – we've talked about some of these analytic sites that have cited, as great as he was before the injury last year, there were some signs of regression, even though he was still dominant.
It depends on what's your definition of decline.
Well, I mean, we talked about one the other day. The percentage of the time that he breaks the tackle or makes people miss went down. There's a new article today on ESPN.com that talks about Derrick Henry's decline. And it's with Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara and some of the other running backs that still get the big money. Ezekiel Elliott is definitely in decline, right?
And Ezekiel Elliott was never, in my opinion, in watching him his entire career in Dallas, has never been Derrick Henry. I'm sorry. I've never been
maybe so,
as fascinated as everybody else about Ezekiel Elliott.
Running backs, we know, generally decline as they get older.
Right, but I don't think it's fair to put him in the Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara because those two have always been hurt, basically. They're always hurt. Derrick Henry just got hurt for the first time. So we don't know.
Look, I don't want to get too we don't know, but how do you try as best you can without having a crystal ball and knowing how the future will come out? Nobody is all knowing, but you look at the signs. So this is Bill Barnwell from ESPN. Rush yards over expectation. Down from 2019 and 2020. First down rate. Over expected. Success rate. All of those, as even though he piled up a lot of yards and was awesome. I said he was the most valuable player in the league before he got hurt. But there were some signs of decline. Now, you can argue, look, based on what he was doing the couple years before that, there was nowhere to go but down. But relative to other backs in the league, I'm just pointing it out. I'm not rooting for this to happen, but I think you got to be careful on what is reasonable expectations for Derrick Henry the next 2 or 3 years, especially as it pertains to his contract.
It's hard for me to say he was on the – I don't care what Bill Barnwell or anybody puts out there, Pro Football Focus, any of them, that he was on the decline when it looked like he was set to go where no player in NFL history, which is over 100 years of running backs, has ever gone. If he stays upright and healthy last year, he's going to 2,000 yards in back-to-back seasons. It's never been done in a pass-happy offense. This is about throwing it in an era where it's all about throwing. And he was going to go back-to-back.
It's phenomenal.
Where no running back has ever gone in over 100 years.
But he was doing it in a less efficient way. His yards per carry went from over 5 yards per carry to 4.3, which is still really good. And he had dominant games, but it wasn't as easy. It wasn't as efficient as it was. Is he going to bounce back? I don't think so. Can he maintain what he was last year? I would take that because that would be a really good year. You threw out 1,400 yards, 1,500. That would be awesome if he just did that. But he's still not going to – he's not likely to bounce back and be better. You're hoping he stays in the ballpark. And there was decline last year.
To me, the telltale sign that he is never going to be the same is if he starts having 1,000 to anywhere from 1,000 to 1,100 yard rushing seasons. That's when you can
on how many carries. That's the other part of it.
It doesn't matter if that's what. That's all part of it. Well, no, that's all part of it. I mean, to do that, that means the workload has lessened tremendously. It's not going to be on the same workload. I mean, we could all watch that. I mean, if he's having the same workload and finishes with 1,068 yards, we'll be talking about like, is he done? Not is he declining?
Yes,
They'll be like, is he done?
That has happened to running backs. It may not happen to Derrick Henry, but it's happened to a lot of running backs. A lot.
Yes, right. Running backs that aren't elite and special.
But you wouldn't have said that about Larry Johnson and Sean Alexander. There's some great names that were the absolute cream of the crop that hit the wall in different ways.
Are those guys in the Hall of Fame?
No, they don't. I mean, they generally are not, but it happened to Eddie George.
Did. Remember it well. All right, we'll come back. By the way, there's a interesting text that I need us to think about during the break, and let's come back and discuss it. It says, hockey players are a different breed. Name one hockey player that talks through social media like A.J. Brown and other football players. I need a couple minutes to think about that, because at first glance I'm like, Neil may be right, but there's got to be examples. But let's talk about that on the other side, and we'll continue the discussion as well. Don't forget, You Just Made the List coming up at high noon. Back to wrap up the second hour next.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Near record heat here on our Friday. High temperatures climbing to 93 degrees, mainly sunny, and a little mugginess to go with that. Overnight tonight will stay mainly clear. Low temperatures right near 70 degrees.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Blood Assurance, your community nonprofit blood center, will be at the Bellevue Picnic this Saturday, May 21st, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and will be giving away 2 pairs of tickets to an upcoming Nashville SC game. Save 3 lives in your community and be entered to win when you donate with Blood Assurance. This Saturday at the Bellevue Picnic. Visit bloodassurance.org/picnic to sign up.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. One of the things I love about betting my favorite sports is that I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine prop bets from multiple games and now even multiple sports. It's called Same Game Parlay Plus, and you can only find them on FanDuel. Combine NBA playoff player props you love with your favorite baseball home run hitters for a chance to score an even bigger payout. Klay Thompson absolutely lit it up, and I think that the Warriors are back to being the Warriors. If you don't want to build your own same-game parlay, check out their popular same-game parlay section where you can join the bets that other users are jumping on. And if you're new to FanDuel, use the promo code JGM to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make every moment more by downloading the FanDuel Sportsbook app using the promo code JGM so they know that I sent you. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issues not withdrawable. Site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Parman Energy is your one-stop petroleum solution across all of Tennessee, offering turnkey petroleum solutions for professionals in major industries, serving trucking fleets, construction companies, industrial plants, and more. Whether a large corporation or owner-operator, Parman Energy has your diesel fuel, lubricant, DEF, and equipment needs. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman. Visit ParmanEnergy.com for more info. Your Tennessee petroleum solution, providing totally outrageous customer service.
Empire Auto Parts has opened a brand new location in Nashville, Tennessee. They're hosting a hiring event with giveaways, sign-on bonuses, and more happening at Holiday Inn Express at the Crossings, 201 Crossings Place, May 16th through 20th from 9 a.m. to noon or 2 to 5. Empire Auto Parts offers hourly pay, full benefits, 401k matching, and more. Current job openings for warehouse associate, delivery drivers, customer service agents, account managers, and dispatchers. Apply now on Indeed at Empire Auto Parts Inc. Jobs or visit their website at EmpireAutoParts.com.
Hey, is this line secure?
Franco's cybersecurity firm secured a contract, and that's all we're allowed to say.
We have a green light on hiring.
He needs web security professionals with a military background.
3 teams of 4, 24-hour rotations, but Protocol Zulu is on a need-to-know basis.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard, so you can stay organized and connected all the way to the hire. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give two poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Better make sure that unit is working this weekend. It's going to be hot. Hot, hot, hot. What do you think about Neil on our text line? Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Hockey players are a different breed. Name me one hockey player that talks through social media like A.J. Brown and other football players. Max and I were talking during the break. Like, P.K. Subban has obviously been active on social media, but he's not controversial, right? Paul Bissonnette, again, built a name through social media, but I guess he was, I don't know if it's controversial, but he certainly was out there and unfiltered.
He was also much closer to, like, Twitter's creation. Like, he was the first athlete, period, I remember having a personality on Twitter. Maybe I'm wrong, but, like, this was in, like, 2009, 2010.
Yeah, the early days of Twitter, you're saying. He was on the ride early.
And he was not a prominent player ever, as he jokes about.
A popular player, but in a certain role.
The reason TNT works so well with him is because they have the best player in the history of the sport, Wayne Gretzky, sitting next to the worst player in the history of the sport, Paul Bissonnette. And there's no one else in any other sport who would admit that they're the worst player.
But, now that at first I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then I was like, okay, I don't pretend to follow, but we would know, right, if there were outlandish social media accounts with NHL players.
Look, I am probably not the person to ask because I don't care what sport it is. I don't generally follow a lot of current athletes.
But you would know if something like you're not following A.J. Brown, but you started to see and hear all the stuff that he was doing. But if it doesn't come to your attention,
it filters its way back to us.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
Even if you don't directly follow them, I get that. It's a really good question. I think generally speaking, there probably tend to be less hockey players than some other sports, but I'm sure there's some.
I'd say the NBA is probably the worst, right? Like Kevin,
the worst
Kevin
or the
Durant
best
is. Well,
because it's a double-edged sword.
That's true. You're right. That's a good point.
There's some good things about bringing the attention.
They're very active.
Yeah,
they're very.
Some people
active.
think hockey players need to do more of it.
Yeah,
to help their sport. Same thing with baseball, football. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You get a lot of headache, but there's an upside to sort of like I've been to the broadcast meetings where there is a plea from the league to the teams and to the players to show more of your personality. And that's one way you can do it on social media. But then you got to deal with all the goofballs that attack you and put stuff on your timeline that you don't like. And you got to be able to blow that off somehow, which some people can do easier than others.
Yep. I think, Darren, the Predators may be ahead of the pack in this because the oldest player on the team is 32. I don't know where the average age ranks, but they may have the youngest elder statesman in the league of anybody, Willie, you think? Mark Borowiecki's the oldest player on the team, and he's 32. But it's a pretty young team, a lot of guys with young families, and because of that, the majority of them have active Instagrams of this year's Preds players.
Yes.
Like, they are putting stuff up. They are sharing things from the team.
It's
just a different app, yeah.
Yeah, it's their dog or their kid or their what, yeah.
But that's what the league wants. I mean, like, Nick Cousins is out there chirping guys in the comments. Like, he's chirping, I mean, as he's supposed to do. He's chirping the hell out of his teammates. So,
but they don't have somebody that filters whose stuff filters around the league and creates a big thing. Paul Bissonnette's an interesting example. PK Subban certainly had a massive following. It's not as big as it was, but he's certainly a guy that has benefited and raised his profile through social media. Fair?
Yes, but again, we're talking about A.J. Brown was getting the attention, Antonio Brown, other NFL players that get attention for the other reasons, right? Being,
there's
outspoken
definitely
about
how
things.
you use it. How you use it is very important and very different depending on the player. You can get a lot of attention and build a big following without living your life out loud, right? Tweeting and then saying, "Well, whoops, I'm taking that down." There's people who are very calculated about it and build a brand with a lot of thought put into it, and then there's people that just are regular people who happen to be famous people that do what a lot of people do and probably put some things out on social media that they regret putting out. But for them, there's more consequences.
One of my theories would be that, football players, a lot of times when they get mad is because they don't have the guaranteed contracts, and so they're trying to push the needle, push the envelope, get someone's attention, right? Whether it's a front office or whatever. And so that may play a factor in it, where all the other sports do have the guaranteed contracts, right? They get the deal and they're locked in. Football players don't, so maybe that's why they get a little bit more, outlandish, or they get mad and they go to social media because they're trying to get somebody's attention. They don't have the guaranteed contracts. I don't know. I mean, I will agree overall, just because I've covered hockey players for a long time and football players for a long time with Neil. Yes, hockey players are different. They are definitely different. I mean, the majority of
they're
them.
They're conditioned differently.
They are
as they come up through the ranks. It's just
they're just a different type of person. Yes, and it's that's not saying anything bad about football players. I've met some incredible people that are NFL players and incredible people who are hockey players, and hockey players. Everybody's got they're not all choir boys. They're not all, but they are different as a whole. I would definitely agree with that. They are different.
Well, when you say, when people are asking, what do you mean? Well, there is just a culture within the game that suggests you do not call attention to yourself. And so if somebody wants to break the mold, there's going to be a lot of people, turning a big eyebrow towards you.
Which is what happens with PK Subban. Like, people do, because of the culture, again, they do roll their eyes.
Well, Trevor Zegras, right? There was that big thing with the Ducks at the end of the season, right, where they poked the bear a little bit. They were winning big, and then Arizona, some of the old school guys took issue, and they beat the crap out of those guys.
Yep.
I mean, injured a guy. They beat him to, that's literally what happens in hockey. If you show off too much, you will get beat up. I'm not talking about, hey, on social media. I'm talking about literally getting beat up on the ice. Mm-hmm. That's the old school culture that they're trying to break the mold a little bit. And they're evolving and have been evolving for a long time, but that's how the game was known for a long time, for decades. You don't call attention to yourself, or there will be consequences.
All right, we'll come back. Third hour. We begin with You Just Made the List. Who or what has made you mad? That's next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Gary Ashton here. I love hearing people say, don't sell without the intel, because it means they're really embracing our message. Now's a great time to sell your home in Nashville, but you need the intel only the Gary Ashton team can provide. Intel that helps you sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel to win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Let everyone else get the same information and compete for the same properties, while you get the intel edge with the Gary Ashton team, the official real estate team for your Tennessee Titans. And if you're looking for a great career, join our team. We added 65 new agents last year, and we want you to join us this year. Remember, don't sell without the intel. And if you're looking for a great career, the Gary Ashton team wants you in 2022. Call 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com today.
Trying to find a new home right now is next to impossible. Very little inventory, prices are crazy high, rates are moving up. Here's a better idea. Let my friends at Loan Pronto refinance your current home, turn all that equity you have into cash, and totally transform your house. A new kitchen, new bathroom, a pool. Think about it. Your home value is up. Instead of wasting all that on an overpriced new house, convert that equity into cash for a home makeover. One local couple did it and got $200,000 out. They added new hardwoods, an outdoor living space, a swimming pool with spa and all new cabinets and appliances, plus a home office. Now they have their dream home, and they never had to move. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their home improvement refi. Give your home a total makeover and do it now. You can even skip your next house payment in the process. Call now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution, and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at parmantractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Looking for a career with purpose or have that passion for youth development? Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provides a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. And that starts with you, offering competitive pay and free after-school care for employees. Learn more at bgcmt.org.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungeredInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Good morning.
Robbie and Rex Road mornings from 6 to 10.
It's not bad. Might have to work on that. Not bad. It's a starting point.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Informative conversation while you work. This is the DDC. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Are you angry? No, really. Has that one person got you fuming? Well, call them out. Now's your chance to tell them.
You know what? You just made the list.
You just made the list.
Here we go.
Let us know who's on your list. Call 615-737-1025. You just made the list. Now, on Darren, Donick, and Chase.
All right, it's therapy time going into the weekend. It's time for you to release. Feel a little bit better. Who or what's made you mad? You know what's happened this week. Especially with the warmer temperatures, you're a little bit more hot under the collar. Who or what has made you mad? Bring me the horizon. That'll be a show on September 28th. Tickets just went on sale this morning. We've got a pair of tickets to give away, but you're going to have to get involved in the show. You know how this works by now. 615-737-1025. That's our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Tell us who or what has made you mad. Maxwell filled your call from the Hillside Medical Game Studio. Willie, do you have one or do you want me to start?
Oh, I have one.
Okay. Okay. Lead it off.
It may have come up on Robbie and Rex Road this morning. I I read Joe's article in the aftermath of the press conference yesterday, which was an excellent article, and I told him that. But the headline reads this: Rex Road on David Poyle, the Nashville Predators, and mediocrity as an accepted outcome. I have heard that thrown around on our station, on Twitter, all that stuff. The mediocrity. First of all, nobody accepts mediocrity. Everybody's playing to win a championship. So the philosophy of, hey, we accept mediocrity, I don't buy that for a second. But I also don't buy, and this is who I'm putting on the list, if you think that mediocre is making the playoffs 15 out of 18 years and making the playoffs the last 8 years, then
that's your standard.
I think that's exactly. What is your definition of mediocrity? I just don't think that is the definition, objectively, of mediocrity. Now, is it exceptional? No. I'm not here to tell you that it is. I'm not here to tell you that it's superlative. But it is above mediocre. Mediocre would be making the playoffs every other year. If there's 30, right now there's 32 teams. But Vegas and Seattle haven't been in the league that long to really judge them. I tried, Darren, in the last day to do a comparison in the salary cap era. So there's a lot of ways you can do this. You want to look at the last 5 years, the last 10 years. I looked at the salary cap era, which is since 2005. That's about, 17, 18 seasons? Mm-hmm. And so objectively, I tried to almost downplay making the playoffs. I looked at winning cups, winning playoff rounds, divisions, all of these things. I objectively, in my mind, had Nashville around number 12 or 13, give or take a notch. There's a couple that are really debatable, right? But they're no worse than 13 or 14. Now, remember, making the playoffs 15 out of 18 years, 8 in a row. Now, some people, they say, well, that's right in the middle. It's above the middle. So I don't think you can say it's mediocre. That's my one beef. So to those that label what the Predators have done as mediocre, I think you have to look at it in comparison to everybody else in the league.
You just made the list.
Yeah.
Mediocrity is defined as not very good at something or not very good at anything in particular.
Yeah.
I don't think making the playoffs is not good.
It's solid. It's not spectacular, but
like
you could do a ton worse.
Being ousted in the first round 4 years in a row. I mean, what Minnesota has been ousted 6 years in a row?
6 years in a row.
So are they mediocre?
Minnesota has been solid for a long time. I would put them. I don't know.
I feel like there should be another word. Like mediocre. Yeah. To me, mediocrity is average. Average doesn't mean, to me, average. If you're average, you're not in the playoffs. Like Jeff Fisher got pounded for years for being 8-8. 8-8 is not a playoff.
I thought of that a lot.
That is average. That's mediocrity.
That
going
is
8-8. You don't make the playoffs, and you get a middle of the road draft pick. So that is truly no man's land, right?
Yeah, I would put.
You don't get rewarded for not making the playoffs with a high draft pick. You draft in the middle, and you didn't make the playoffs. So to me, that's mediocrity.
I think so. That is what I think. So it bugs me when people try to say because look, I'm proud of a lot of what they have done as an organization, and it's not fair to characterize it as mediocre. It's not easy. They have won. As we talked about before, your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. They've been consistent winners, but they have not achieved at the very, very top. If you compare them to a lot of, I automatically put teams that have won a cup above the Predators. That was an automatic. Okay, but there have been some that have won. So, but I still put Carolina above the Predators because they won a cup in the salary cap era under Peter Laviolette. So they have been boom or bust. So I tried to be conservative in where I rank the Predators, but it's not mediocre. No matter what measure you use, it is better than average. Is it superlative? Is it exceptional? Is it one of the best in the league? No, but it's not mediocre. Give me a break. How about Mike Vrabel when he was taking over those 9-7 Titans teams? What was his mantra? We're good. We want to go from good to great. I thought that was a fair assessment of where their team has been. They're still looking for greatness in the playoffs. They've gotten better under Mike Vrabel.
But they haven't been great.
They haven't. Well, I mean, that's again up for a discussion. But they're not mediocre.
Exactly.
They are. That was a fair way of putting it. They went from good. They're trying to go from good to great. The Predators have been good, not mediocre.
Yeah,
so anybody who's saying mediocre, you're on the list.
Okay. Look, I didn't mean to piggyback off yours, but I just think for people who aren't satisfied, that's okay. I think we just need to come up with a different word. I don't think mediocrity or mediocre is the right word. There needs to be a different word. Again, mediocrity says you're not very good at something. You're not very good at anything in particular. You can't be in the playoffs and not be good.
I agree.
There has to be, again, I'll use the Jeff Fisher, and I'm not meaning to pound on Jeff Fisher, but going 8-8 and not making the playoffs is mediocrity because you get jammed on both ends. You don't get to enjoy any postseason play, and you get a middle-of-the-pack first-round pick.
Right, 8-8. So look at the Predators. The one-loss record, it's not like the Predators are getting in, winning less than half of their games. If you look year in and year out, they're winning more than half of that by definition is good. It's not mediocre.
Max has one as well. Max, go ahead.
Hi, Darren. First of all, you look great today. That's
Thank
unrelated.
you, Max. Appreciate it. You too.
I think maybe 3 weeks ago, the last time I produced on a Friday, one of you was talking about giveaway T-shirt sizes at games.
Yep. No, that was actually
a listener that came up with
a listener that brought it up.
Didn't like that. It's always XL.
So I agreed with that individual.
Yes, so did I.
And I, in a slightly related note of stadium giveaway items, and I think this is my first time ever actually having something to put on the list because I don't have a lot to complain about. I'm a happy guy. But if you are doing a stadium giveaway and it's not something that's like some sort of valuable item, like occasionally pro teams will give away something that like they want there to only be 500 of for whatever reason, like a commemorative something. If you're doing a giveaway, please don't limit it. Like the first 1,000 fans, the first 5,000
the first 10,000.
Yeah. The other thing that gets me is when they do like the first or fans ages 21 and older get this because they want every family to get one. It's like, no, give the kids something. But my main thing is however many tickets you're expecting to sell, get that many of the item, get a sponsor for it, which most pro teams do. Mm-hmm. And like if it's a bobblehead, I mean, like we know us, and lots of our listeners collect bobbleheads. How many bobbleheads are in your Zoom shot right now, Darren? Probably 20. Mm-hmm. And we got 20 on the desk here. Those sit on people's desks for 30 years. So if that says like 102.5 The Game as the sponsor, that's worth the money. You can find a sponsor, but you shouldn't have to get there 2.5 hours early to get something. And I think everybody should get something at every game forever. So print more free stuff.
You just made the list.
I like it. Okay, we are off and running. Loaded lines. Come back, and we will get your phone calls. We're going to run through them all. 615-737-1025. But, Willie, no, that's coming up in a little bit. We'll come back. Your phone calls next.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
they're still in good shape to make the playoffs,
and I-840.
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head.
What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams.
This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Nissan South. Have you ever seen a commercial for something that they build up to be amazing? only to be completely disappointed? You have these high expectations, and then boom, all the wind taken from your sails. The product isn't what you expected, and you end up feeling let down and maybe even lied to. Sound familiar? So many car dealers promise more than they can deliver, and you end up with extra fees, and your payments end up higher than you expected. You don't get that when you shop at Newton. The price you see on the site is the price you pay at the store. You can even work your deal online with Newton FastPass. We want all our customers to have a VIP buying experience. You don't have to take our word for it. Hundreds of our customers leave reviews online each month talking about our honest and transparent buying experience. The proof is in the pudding. Come see for yourself. Shop and buy online with Newton FastPass at newtonnissansouth.com. See website for details, pudding pop, bomb pop, kingofpop.org.net.com.edu.
The Gallatin Hotel is a vibrant and charming boutique hotel tucked into East Nashville and was voted the #1 boutique hotel in East Nashville by TripAdvisor. Not only is the Gallatin unique by design, but they also give away the majority of their profits to those who need it most and provides beds, food, and supplies to Nashville's underserved communities and those experiencing homelessness. Just one more reason to love your stay at the Gallatin. Visit thegallatinhotel.com to book your stay now. The Gallatin Hotel. It's good vibes only.
There are jewelry stores, and then there's Genesis Diamonds, the cutting-edge industry leader, the pioneer. It's no secret that jewelry stores across America watch what Genesis is doing. Genesis was the first to offer a free lifetime warranty, the first to offer a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee, the first to offer aggressive long-term zero-interest financing. And Genesis is always on the cutting edge in design and fashion. The styles other jewelers say are new and exciting were new and exciting for us 4 years ago. Genesis has the fashion-forward brands other stores aren't even allowed to carry. It's no wonder you see jewelers from other cities coming to Genesis to see what we're all about, and even buy their wives' jewelry from us. For selection, quality, service, warranties, and guarantees, Genesis leads. Others follow. So for diamonds, engagement rings, exclusive designer jewelry for any occasion, don't compromise. Come to the jeweler that sets the industry standards year after year. Genesis Diamonds and pre-owned Rolexes, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Dell Technologies wants to celebrate all your hard work with these Small Business Month specials. Get great value offers on powerful laptops, desktops, and servers with Windows 11 Pro starting at $499, plus top monitors and docks, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. It's the perfect time to upgrade so you and your team can stay secure from anywhere. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL to refresh your business tech with these Small Business Month specials. Dell recommends Windows 11 Pro for business.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the DDC podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
All right, who or what has made you mad? 615-737-1025. Let's find out how you can feel better. Get us started, Mike in Gallatin.
Hey, guys. So I was going through making a process of a decision, and I want to know if you guys are going to either put me on the list or this other person. So I'm going to give you three options. I want you to determine which one is the most expensive in terms of dollars amount. Okay, two tickets to WWE SummerSlam in the 200 level. 2 tickets to Hamilton on a Thursday night in the second tier of P-PAC. Or tickets to Disney Junior live at the Grand Ole Opry in November.
I'm going to go with Hamilton, T-PAC. That's my final answer.
Then, judging by your answer, that I'm putting Mickey Mouse on the list. They are charging $200+ for me to get comparable tickets for my 3-year-old son to be able to go see Mickey Mouse and Spider-Man.
Oh, that was the most expensive ticket?
Yeah, I mean, he's a 3-year-old, so I can't sit. I can sit in the rafters if I want to, but if you're going to keep a 3-year-old entertained, you're not going to be able to do that sitting in the rafters of the Grand Ole Opry. It's just not going to happen. So it was hard for me, and I haven't pulled the trigger. I'm probably not going to, for what it's worth, because, again, I feel like I'm getting justified through talking to other young dads and other people who have probably impulse buy plenty of dumb kids stuff shows going forward, that these are going to come a dime a dozen. They're going to come around again at some point. But yeah, for tickets in the second tier, it was going to cost me after fees more than I paid for my ticket to Hamilton.
I'll give you some free advice, Mike, and this is both of us have been through this. At 3, I'd probably hold on and wait a little bit longer to get your true bang for your buck.
Yeah, you get excited because your kid loves seeing, Mickey Mouse and the little Spider-Man, but I think we could also just watch Mickey Mouse and Spider-Man on Disney Plus with the pizza for $5, and it'd be just as exciting as, the $300, and that's just for the tickets, let alone.
You're going to spend way more once you get there. You're toast once you get there.
Exactly. Well, thank you for the therapy, and Mickey Mouse, you suck.
Wow.
You just made the list.
Mickey's on the list, man.
Wow.
That's tough.
That's a little steep. Especially for a 3-year-old. And when you get there, you get sucked into all that stuff. Like, it used to drive me. Gosh, and you have to do it, and you just know whatever you buy there, which is going to be outrageously expensive, they're going to have it with them that day, and you may get the next day out of it, and then they're going to throw it in a corner to never look at or to be seen again. And you're like, man, did I really pay $40 for that? Yeah. We've all been through that. All right, let's go to
Have we ever?
615-737-1025. Let's go to Eric. Eric, who or what has made you mad?
Hey, guys, I'm going to get to my list in a minute, but about giveaways, one of the things I just want to throw out there, too, is if you don't want the product, don't take it, because I've been to a lot of events and games, whether it's Titans or whatever, where people take stuff, and then it'll either be on the ground or in the trash, so you don't have to take it if they give it to you, so just don't do that. Just throw that out there. Hey, guys, on my list, and I've complained about it before. I thought about using this Monday, but it was better for today. It's the Cincinnati Reds organization. Already you've had the owner that went out and got to a fans talking about moving the tank from Cincinnati, and you can't never say anything like that for an iconic franchise. But you probably heard about this story. So last week at the Reds ball game, I guess it was Tuesday, home at the Great America Ballpark, there you're having $2 hot dog night and $2 beer night, which good PR move, don't have a problem with that. But unfortunately, guys, they ran out of stuff in the fourth inning, and they only had 10,000 fans. Now, if you're going to do something like that, you cannot have that happen, and it just is a disaster. I wish the owner could sell and get rid of the ballpark, get rid of his ownership in the team, because I never thought we'd have an owner as bad, if not worse, than Marge Schott. So, Cincinnati Reds, you make my list.
You just made the list.
Thank you, Eric. In lieu of Ryan Porth coming on our show on Wednesday for a couple segments in studio, the Reds ownership group, it's just their front office and ownership group, it's just a tire fire. It's embarrassingly bad. It's really, really bad. Remember when Ryan Porth told me that he was glad Dusty Baker was gone because the Reds deserved better? They're better than that. They're never going to win anything with Dusty Baker. 615-737-1025. I've never even heard of. Maybe we should ask Jared Parker this. Losing a game when your pitcher throws a no-hitter. I've never even heard of that before.
That's happened.
Great teams like the Pirates find a way to win, Darren.
Unbelievable. Nate, who or what is on your list?
First, if Doug is on the line or on waiting, I'm sending good vibes his way. Because, my goodness, for some reason, he's just had horrible weeks for the past, I guess, forever. Anyways, got to do some self-reporting, guys. On the list today is me. Last week, I'm listening to Robbie and Rex Road, and I hear that the whiskey tour tickets are being, basically given away, I guess, later or today or tomorrow or something, for tomorrow. So I go and I text in the word whiskey. I go to look to see when the event was, because at the time I didn't know it was tomorrow. And I look and I'm like, oh man, I've got to go to this kind of wedding party thing with my wife. I contemplate for about 10, 15 minutes. And thank God that my wife is very understanding, because I asked her, if I could, skip the wedding party thing, and if I won the tickets and go to the whiskey tour. But like I said, she's very understanding. I love her very much for that. And, unfortunately I can't go. But I feel like I have to put myself on the list for being that guy asking his wife to do something else rather than go to the event with her.
You just made the list.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. A little cleansing. Hopefully Nate can feel better for doing that. It's the whole point of this. 615-737-1025. Let's go to Tony in Nolensville. Who or what has made you mad?
Hello, guys. And Darren, before I get started, I want you to know, had lunch a little earlier a while ago, and a friend of mine come in, and he had just a Cleveland shirt on. And I said, are you not going to get you a Guardian shirt? He said, I refuse to buy that. He will not. He said, I will buy nothing that has Guardians on it. And I told him I could relate because I would not be buying nothing with the new Vanderbilt logo V on it either. So we're both staying traditional. So I thought I'd let you know that.
You just made the list.
By the way, there's a lot more people that feel that way, including myself.
List, right, and who's made my list officially, actually every day, and y'all can probably attest to this yourself, I am sick and tired of riding through our counties, especially I live in Wilco. Y'all know where that is. I think Willie's there too. And you take the back roads, and every time you're riding, you've always are encountering somebody on your side of the road. Why is it people cannot stay on their side of the yellow line on the back roads in these counties? It's beyond me. Does people not know how to drive anymore, or do they think that the whole road is theirs when they're coming around a curve or over a hill? It's beside me. So stay in your lane. Stay off of my side of the road because you just made the list. Thank you, guys.
Tony.
You just made the list.
You're not the first to tell us to stay in our lane, Just saying. And I have no Guardian stuff, Willie. None.
Well, for the record, I am an East Sider, as most people know. I am not a Wilco guy.
Not.
Nothing against Wilco, but just to be accurate.
You're East Side
I'm
through
East
and
Sider.
through.
Yeah.
Through and through. Let's go to Bill. You're up next. Who or what is on your list?
Hey, guys. I haven't been listening to you guys for very long, so if I repeat something that's been said before, I apologize. But before I get to my list item, I'd like to reiterate what Willie said about certain individuals on your station who call the Predators mediocre, and then with the opinion of, well, they should, Philip Forsberg, he's okay. He's not a superstar. Well, but he's an identity. And that kind of leads me to my list. The Atlanta Braves did not re-sign Freddie. And I thought I was going to be sick the first time that I saw the Braves and the Dodgers play, and Freddie is not in a Braves uniform. So I love Atlanta. I still watch them. I love Matt, but I hate it that Freddie is not there.
You just made the list.
Okay, Bill. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's going to take some time. Freddie was a very, very, very popular figure.
It's a popular narrative right now for the Braves is, hey, they look like they're missing Freddie Freeman.
I don't know.
It looks like they're missing Freddie Freeman. They have a lot of other problems on their roster besides first base, but it's easy to put that together.
And also going in, that is going to happen probably.
Sure.
Right?
And this is chapter one. Like, I think in another 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it's like we were saying with the Mikhail Granlund for Kevin Fiala trade. There's different stages, and it continues to evolve.
Let's just sneak one more in. Tom, you'll be our last one. Who or what is on your list?
Hey, Jimbo Fisher.
Okay.
All right. Well, Nick Saban, he is right about paying the players and everything like that before they do get into the college, because you don't know how they're going to turn out and everything like that, and give them all that money. I mean, I understand giving them money and stuff like that, support themselves or whatever they got to do. But I don't think Nick Saban is worried about that stuff like people say he is. He's worried about these other teams and stuff like that. I think the other teams are worried about him, and that's why they're doing this.
Okay.
So
All right. Thank
I think,
you, Tom.
I think that's why that's why Jimbo Fisher made the list.
You just made the list.
Speaking of that, that's a good segue, Tom. We'll come back and discuss that on the other side. We haven't really had a chance to weigh in on the soap opera that is Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. And it's been a heavily discussed topic this week. So we'll do that on the other side. I'm glad you brought that up. It was a perfect segue. Justin Bradford will join us at 1 o'clock to kick off the final hour. We'll talk about yesterday's press conference and get his thoughts on the Predators moving forward. They just had their last Penalty Box Radio on Wednesday night. So we'll do that at 1 o'clock. Right now I'm going to talk to you about the summer heat that is here. Yes, the warm temperatures are here to stay. Is your air conditioner ready? Costs are rising everywhere. We know that, right? When we go to the grocery store, yikes when you check out. When you fill up your gas tank with your car, yikes. Utility bills, all that. Everything is going up, up, and up. Is your AC old, inefficient, and costing more than it should? Well, interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Qualified buyers have up to 72 months no interest for a new York air conditioner and 6 months no interest for repairs. That's a Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. All new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York-certified comfort expert company. You can schedule right now at springhillac.com.
Hey, I'm Matthias Ekholm, and this is Smashville.
Ekholm, his shot, he scores! Matthias Ekholm gets the Predators' third of the night.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Gary Ashton here. I love hearing people say, don't sell without the intel, because it means they're really embracing our message. Now's a great time to sell your home in Nashville, but you need the intel only the Gary Ashton team can provide. Intel that helps you sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel to win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Let everyone else get the same information and compete for the same properties, while you get the intel edge with the Gary Ashton team, the official real estate team for your Tennessee Titans. And if you're looking for a great career, join our team. We added 65 new agents last year, and we want you to join us this year. Remember, don't sell without the intel. And if you're looking for a great career, the Gary Ashton team wants you in 2022. Call 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com today.
The deals at Electronic Express are heating up. Prepare for Memorial Day with brands like Charbroil, Yeti, Samsung, LG, Vornado, and more. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department. Outdoor living, appliances, 4K TVs, smart home, furniture, and more. Plus, save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online at electronicexpress.com with free express delivery. Summer savings at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
You purchased a fine European automobile because of the amazing drivability and great looks. Then someone slid into you during a rainstorm. European Collision Repair is Nashville's premier location for collision repairs. Their state-of-the-art facility is certified by 30 vehicle manufacturers. The best part is their customer service, and they can provide an estimate simply by you sending in a photo of your damage. If you have a fine European automobile, have the repairs done at European Collision Repair. Go to EuropeanCollisionRepair.com.
Hey, Nashville, what's the best part of hockey? That's rhetorical. We all know the answer. It's the 3-on-3 overtime, the speed, the skill, the tic-tac-toe passing. It is electric. Well, now there is a new, totally 3-on-3 ice hockey league called 3 Ice, coming to the Music City on August 6th. They're playing at Bridgestone Arena, and tickets are available now at 3ice.com. 6 teams touring across 9 cities, playing a bracket-style tournament at each stop. It's overtime all the time. Hair on fire hockey. Log on to 3ice.com for tickets now.
If you've been thinking about remodeling your home's kitchen or bath, contact the countertop experts at Smoky Mountain Tops. Willie Donick here, and I'm proud to tell you about my longtime friends. We installed Smoky Mountain Tops surfacing in our kitchen years ago, and it's remained durable and super easy to clean up. Smoky Mountain Tops is proud to offer the new prestigious Vidara Quartz for your kitchen or bath countertops. Check out the stunning new Vidara Quartz shown at Smoky Mountain Top Studio. Contact the pros at Smoky Mountain Tops. Quality, service, and dedication. SmokyMountainTops.com.
Tonight is a celebration of craft beer with a side of Sounds baseball. The Louisville Bats are in town, and you can grab a $40 ticket that includes your seat and 2 cans of craft beer of your choice. Catch the action at First Horizon Park tonight at 6:35. Tickets are available now at NashvilleSounds.com.
Hey, this is Jordan Rogers, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The Reds are on the radio.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's official home for NASCAR. Vroom, vroom, 4 o'clock on Sunday. The All-Star Race, Texas Motor Speedway. Also, Chasing Checkers will get you ready for the race Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. NASCAR on ESPN 102.5 The Game is presented by the Nashville Superspeedway and Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Willie, you get a vote on this. If you vote no, then I'm totally cool with it. There is a late entry to You Just Made the List. One more phone caller, and if you want to approve this, we'll do it. If you don't, we'll just move on because I'm totally fine moving on, but I want you to have a vote in this.
I'm told I should vote for this. I'm told I've been left in the dark of who it is, but I've been told, look, you should let this guy on.
So is that a yes?
That's a yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. One last caller for You Just Made the List.
Hello.
Who is this? Identify yourself.
This is Christopher Dwayne Sanders V, and my heart is broken. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
You just made the list, Darren, and I'm really upset. I mean, you called me about 2 weeks ago and said, Chris, hey, I want you to play in the golf tournament. He said, you're the first person I called. Remember you said that? You're the first person I called. I waited by the phone for four straight days. You know when you have that girlfriend that you like and you wait for him to call and you just sitting by the phone?
I've been there.
I sat by the
That's a New Edition song, I think, isn't it?
Is that Mr. Telephone Man?
Mr. Telephone Man. There's something. I sat there.
Boy.
I get a click. Okay, I'm not gonna sing, but So then all of a sudden, I'm listening on the radio, and you guys are playing golf. And then I went back to saying like, okay, he said I was the first guy that he called. He said that I'm his best friend. Hey, we're gonna make sure you're there. And I never got a call. So I'm sorry to interrupt the show. But
no, you're not.
You just
no,
made
you're
the
not.
list.
No,
I'm really not because it's all ammo because I've been waiting for a moment like this. And then my feelings are just hurt.
And Chris,
So-
here's
Yes.
the thing, too, is you told the best golf story of the season so far, talking about the first time you and Derek were playing golf
Absolutely.
and D-Mace wore the
100%.
receiving gloves.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question. Was Derek there?
He was there, yes.
You know the
were
answer.
you there?
Yeah.
I
You
was
know
there.
You know the answer.
Okay.
Darren was there.
Was number 81 Forever Titan there?
I didn't see you there.
And guess what he said? He said, you're the first person I called. I'm just telling you what he said. So, well, I'm just letting you know, big dog. You made the list, and I'm glad. And you know what I think about the whole situation?
Tell us.
Click.
You just made the list.
Well, let me just tell you something, Mr. Sanders. I'm putting you on the list because you have been waiting all week to do this to me. All week. And you called late. You called when the segment was over. So Forever Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders,
You just
who
made the
was
list.
just drooling to do this all week and put me on
But
it,
it was
which
good,
I
though.
was fine. I was fine with that. I knew I was going to get it today. And you called when the segment was over.
This is also very out of character for Chris, who is
Oh,
the only guest who calls us.
Oh, wait a
instead of
minute.
Us calling them.
Did he forget Oh, wait a minute. So it does happen, right? He forgot the time? Did he forget? Oh, yeah, it does happen. I feel bad. I
You just
honestly,
made the list.
He was like, "Can I put you on the list?" I said, "Of course." I was like, but in all sincerity, I didn't sleep Monday night. I was pretty sick about it. It just slipped through the cracks. I don't have any excuse. I have to fall on the sword and I have to take it. I have to take it. He did not. He did not get the info.
It slipped through the cracks.
It slipped through the cracks.
That's tough.
And that is
tough feeling.
on me for sure. And I felt horrible. I was absolutely mortified when he called me on Monday and said, still doing the golf tournament? And I was like,
sinking feeling. That's tough. It's tough. I felt sad just hearing that. I felt sad hearing that.
I could tell.
That's tough. I was really sad.
Mm-hmm. You weren't helping, that's for sure.
You got to give me credit for New Edition, though. That was pretty good.
Gator Tim on our text line want to know if that last caller we took was John McClain. Oh, boy, oh, boy. No, it was not. Although John did make an appearance on the show here recently.
He did.
Oh, boy, oh, boy. Ryan in Nashville says on our text line, the Predators management is on my list. Vegas and the Islanders missed the playoffs, and they fired their coaches. Preds get swept in the playoffs, and they keep Poyle and extend Hines. So, that means you agree with what happened? Let's just say in New York. And, by the way, when we talk about things behind the scenes, again, do you think maybe being around Peter DeBoer, you think maybe that, just having to deal with him on a daily basis may have factored in just a bit? Do you think if he was a swell guy, maybe the leash would be a little bit longer? Again, things behind the scenes do matter. It may have mattered here for a certain coach. Just saying. Maybe it was a little bit warm and fuzzy. Maybe the leash was a little bit longer. I don't know. But I don't know. Look, everybody's entitled to their opinions, and that is totally fine. But I mean, I don't think the Islanders is a very let's revisit. Remember, Washington did the same thing with Barry, and Mr. Barry, how'd that work out? Is he even on a coaching staff?
Todd Reardon?
Oh, Reardon. I said Barry. Reardon.
Todd Reardon, yes. He is an
no
assistant.
No relation to Jeff?
Yeah, Todd Reardon is an assistant coach, I think, for the Penguins.
Okay.
But the Capitals have not won a series since Barry Trotz has been the coach. 4 straight first-round exits.
Anybody who's listened to this show knows our feelings about Lane Lambert. Rooting for him, but, we'll just see. Let's revisit. We'll see if this was the right move.
But it just goes to show you, my theme for the day is it doesn't matter what your plan is. If you want who is among the most harsh at rash decisions, quick changes, quick hooks? Philadelphia, right? Is that fair to say? The Flyers?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They've won 1 playoff round in 9 years. And they've missed the playoffs a bunch of times.
Well, I said it. I think it was yesterday. Look,
sometimes that's who fires the coach. That's who fires the coach. That's who fires the GM. That's who starts over. They have done that many times over the last 9 years. They fired Peter Laviolette, who got them to the Stanley Cup Finals. 2 years later, he got fired after 3 games of the regular season.
Yep.
They have won 1 playoff round since then. 1. 9 years. So there's a lot of ways to do things. There's a lot of different ways than Nashville does things. They don't all work. So,
sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do.
A lot of times
sometimes they don't. There's no one way of doing it. There's no the way of doing it.
Yeah. Look, Ryan, you're entitled to your opinion, and you don't have to agree with it. That's perfectly fine, and your comments are always going to be welcome on the show. But using the Vegas and the Islanders as, well, they did it, so we have to do it, like that's not a good enough reason. We've just gave you several reasons. What about all the failures? And, oh, by the way, let's see how it works out. Let's see how the Islanders works out. I don't know about Vegas because Vegas is equipped. They are equipped. I don't know if they make the right hire. It could be Barry Trotz. They could be right back in position to being right in the thick of things because they have a loaded roster. We'll see how life after Barry is with the Islanders. We'll see. I have my doubts. Even though I'm rooting for Lane Lambert, I don't know how this is going to work out. Josh on our text line says he went to the Sounds game an hour and a half. This is kind of going back to Max's. You just made the list.
Okay.
Said he went to the Sounds game an hour and a half before the gates opened for a stainless steel tumbler. This was last year. The person in front of me got the last one. I was so mad I left the game before first pitch and haven't been back since. The Sounds are still on my list. I never really thought about it until Max brought it up. But, yeah, I don't really love the whole, only a certain amount of people.
It's not bad to have too many. Just give them out at the next game or give them out at FanFest in the offseason.
That is what
they
ends
will
up
find
happening.
happy homes.
Well,
right,
it seems like it. But I do have to believe that each team probably has a closet full of giveaways that
and you
didn't get picked up.
You could open that up at any game of any sports team, walk around, and give every kid you see something for free. Closet would be empty in a week.
I think that is probably a smart way of doing things sometimes. Like, I think of, remember what was it, Code Blue, right? For a while, the Titans would do a Code Blue and give everybody the blue T-shirt, and it was pretty cool. There was one specifically, I think it was the 2008 year where they went 13-3, had a great year. They played Peyton Manning and the Colts on a Monday night. I think it was a Monday night, maybe a Sunday night. I think it was probably a Monday night.
No, it was a Monday night.
And it was cool. They had everybody.
It was awesome.
And then there were piles, there were boxes of those T-shirts around town, and you have to give them away to somebody. So it was funny. You see a lot of different people around town with those on.
So my other example of Titans specifically, how many of these bumper magnets do you see that are just their helmet and it says Nissan Stadium? I see one every day. And I think it's from the first game after the corporate sponsorship of the stadium changed. So that was a decade ago, right? Or almost a decade ago. I see one every day. I mean, if you give out 60,000 to something, it's going to be worth it for your sponsor.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I don't think I've ever thought about it until you brought it up. It's a really good point, and obviously there's people that agree. So good stuff. Justin Bradford at 1 o'clock. We'll come back, wrap up the third hour next.
Every Wednesday at 5, join us for Jared versus Joe as they debate all of the big topics in sports, presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Mayweather Boxing and Fitness on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Near record heat here on our Friday. High temperatures climbing to 93 degrees, mainly sunny, and a little mugginess to go with that. Overnight tonight will stay mainly clear. Low temperatures right near 70 degrees.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability, Z Series mowers, and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Bring home the Kubota L2501 tractor for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 60 months, plus save up to $1,100 now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
2 locations to serve you, Columbia Kubota or Franklin Kubota. Visit them online at ColumbiaKubota.com or FranklinKubota.com.
With all the new people moving here recently, we thought it'd be a good idea to explain Genesis Diamonds. If you've lived here a while, you know all this, so bear with us. Genesis Diamonds is not an ordinary jewelry store. It was started decades ago by a major diamond wholesaler based in Tel Aviv. He was the diamond supplier for hundreds of upscale jewelry stores. Then he decided to start selling direct to the public at prices that undercut traditional jewelers in a big way. This no middleman approach caught on fast and disrupted the traditional jewelry business model forever. Today, Genesis Diamonds continues that extraordinary value promise. With the highest quality diamonds, the lowest prices, the strongest guarantees, exceptional service, and a mind-blowing selection of fine diamonds and exclusive designer jewelry. So if you've just moved here from New York or California or wherever, we invite you to discover the secret the locals are well aware of. Genesis Diamonds. Just another great reason you made the move to this extraordinary place we're proud to call home.
Step up to the plate with Dave's Date. As one of the only Delta 8 brands that is truly single-sourced, quality and consistency is our guarantee. We are local and aim to provide the purest product while educating the consumer every step of the way. Stock up with Dave's next time at your local smoke shop. Visit us on Instagram at days.d8.official to learn more about our wide array of products and special offers. To browse our product line, visit dazed8.com, DAZED, number 8.com, the highest quality standard of Delta 8.
Do you have joint pain in your knees or hips or shoulder or back? Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows how disruptive it is.
How can you focus? How can you be at your optimal best when your body's under attack by pain?
That's why Emmitt's such a proponent of QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is here with regenerative options using natural biologics, non-surgical alternatives that offer lasting relief for pain in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders.
This natural biological treatment gives them the chance to get back in the game and to have a normal life.
QC Kinetics treatments laser focus on areas of intense pain, allowing your body to heal itself with no drugs, so you can focus on normal life.
Walking up the stairs without pain, getting on your bicycle without pain, running again, playing with the kids.
Your consultation is absolutely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
There you go. Mr. Sanders, who was late, so you just made the list. Let's talk about Little Nicky and Jimbo Fisher, the feud.
Well,
which is
I know
perfect.
we have a guest coming up at 1, so we're not nearly in a position to discuss this properly. To me, it's a whole show.
It's a whole show?
I think it's a whole show.
Really?
Yes, because the NIL is moving at warp speed. And I thought it was great theater, number one. It made it to the CBS morning show. I tell you all the time. Like I always pay attention when Good Morning America or the Today Show or CBS, when they go to a sports story, that tells you something. They went to this. And they just scratched the surface. They spent 2 minutes on it. Like I guess we're about to. We're going to spend 5 minutes on it. But it's such an interesting topic. Why did Jimbo Fisher go off? He thought, in his mind, he went off because he thought Nick Saban accused him of cheating. And he was defending the program, his name, the families, the players. When you really listen to Nick Saban, it's a 7-minute answer that he gives. And when he says Texas A&M bought their players, in the context of what he was saying, he didn't say that they were cheating. But what he was saying was something that we discussed about a month ago, Dan. Remember I brought up the whole thing. We were at the Hermitage. It was raining. I talked about Jack Schwarbrick, the Notre Dame athletic director. David Ubben wrote the whole story on what's happening in Knoxville with the collective, right? They proudly are talking about how excited they are about the collective and how many millions of dollars they're putting in the till. This is where it's going, and it is going there fast. Nick Saban was simply pointing out he doesn't like the way it's going. He didn't say Jimbo Fisher was cheating. Basically, he said that we lost out to Texas A&M. They were the number one in recruits. We were number two. And they used this collective to get the players. Now, he probably chose his words poorly. He came back on the next day on a radio show. I think it was on satellite radio, and backed off and said, you know what, I shouldn't have singled people out like Deion Sanders and Jimbo Fisher. But basically, it's a very deep, layered discussion on the topic that he was trying to provide context on. And he just doesn't like where it's going. He's done that on any number of fronts, on where he doesn't like where NCAA athletics are going and why. I thought it was a great discussion. But in doing so, he really ticked off Jimbo Fisher, and he lit a fuse. And Jimbo Fisher is right in saying he didn't cheat. He's just using the rules the way tons of schools, like Tennessee, are using the rules. And why would it not? Why would you not immediately jump to the way that a lot of schools are doing it? Because there's nothing. It's not illegal. So why even get defensive about it? That's what I was strangely.
Well, why single out people for doing something the correct? What's they're perfectly within their rights to do?
Because he just doesn't think it's good for college athletics.
No, why single out people? You think Texas A&M and Deion Sanders, with that top recruit in the country, are the only people? You just said it, Tennessee. Why single? That's the fact. Like, I'm not going to give passes to people. You like always to give a pass to, oh, well, they spoke for 17 minutes, or they gave a 7-minute answer. I don't give passes on that because he chose to single out people, and you said it before I could even get to it. When he chose to do that, you get everything that you get. I don't give a damn if the answer was 6.5 minutes later. You chose to go down that rabbit hole. He's smart. He's done thousands of interviews. And once he singled out people, you get what you get. Ryan Tannehill, when he chose those words as the highest paid player on the team and the starting quarterback on the team, you chose those words, and whether you try to correct it later, it doesn't matter. You already chose to go down that road, and you get what you get.
No question.
You have to be better than that.
I agree, and I think he realized it the next day. Now,
of course he did when he backpedaled.
Here's where I back Jimbo Fisher. This is what I heard a lot when you listen to the entirety of the Jimbo Fisher press conference. There was a lot of fire and brimstone, but one of the themes that you pick up on, I totally get. When you're the big dog, when you are Nick Saban and you're the king of the mountain, everybody tends to worship and think you can do no wrong and think that everything that person does is perfect and he is the man.
Well, in the state of Alabama.
No, I think it goes beyond that, right? He's just got this reputation. I equate it a lot to a Kentucky fan that might look at Mike Krzyzewski or Roy Williams. Like, hey, those guys can do no wrong, but we're the heels that get caught for cheating all the time. We have the reputation is pristine, right? For Nick Saban, the reputation for Coach K is pristine. But when you look beneath the surface, like, are they using the collective the same way? Like, I think Jimbo Fisher was saying, look, you expect us to just fall in the pecking order and not try to compete with you. You're the one that has everything lined up to be successful, right? You've got your ways of doing it. The system has worked for you. So we have to try to push the envelope. We're trying to compete with you. So what are we supposed to do? Just sit back and not do anything? We have to try to evolve. We have to try to be innovative. And so you're going to try to knock us down a peg for doing that? No. You're not perfect. We're not perfect. We're all trying to win here. I get that for sure.
We'll come back. We'll begin the final hour with Justin Bradford, Penalty Box Radio. We'll do that next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
From elegant to contemporary, Social Furniture has it all. And right now, get no interest financing on any purchase through Memorial Day. Save hundreds, even thousands on top brand name bedroom suites, living room and dining sets. Thousands of combinations in stock, ready for immediate delivery. All colors and styles are designer brand names such as Woodhouse, Sealy, Serta, Kincaid, Bernhardt, Stearns & Foster, and Bassett. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture opens 7 days a week on the west side on Charlotte Avenue in the Richland Creek Shopping Center.
Realizing Geico is your one-stop shop for all your insurance needs is like realizing you can just toss the whole measuring cup into the washer so it won't get gunked up with laundry detergent.
I guess it doesn't work for coffee mugs, huh?
It's something that's been right in front of you this whole time, like how Geico offers 24/7 emergency roadside service to help you when you need it most. Or how athletic wristbands aren't for your wrists, they're for wiping sweat off your forehead.
Great. So, what are headbands for?
80s night at the dance club. Woo!
It's something you can't believe you never realized before, like how Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance, with even more ways to save when you add boat, motorcycle, and RV insurance. Or how a pony is its own animal and not just a baby horse.
So, what's a baby pony called?
Getting more ways to save. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
Hey everybody, it's me, Chase McCabe, and I'm so excited to be talking about my go-to drink when I'm out and about, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball is the first and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. It's an original, just like me, the suit. I take Screwball as a shot, but it's great on the rocks, in an old-fashioned, an espresso martini, and many more. So next time you're out and about, ask for Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022, Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Signs First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Arthritis and rheumatic conditions are leading causes of disabilities among adults. Joint replacement could be the solution. The team at Houston Clinic Orthopedics approaches each case with a complete evaluation to see if surgery is right for you. Houston Clinic Orthopedics specializes in arthritis, hip, knee, and shoulder replacements, hip fractures, osteoarthritis of the hip, and joint pain. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Informative conversation while you work. This is the DDC. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
I like what the suit has done with these new hour opens. Good job. Back here on the DDC, Darren McFarland, Willie Donick here with you. Justin Bradford, Penalty Box Radio. They had their swan song, the last show Wednesday night, 2-hour special. He now joins us. Justin, how long have you guys been doing Penalty Box Radio?
A decade. I mean, it's almost when the station began.
Wow. My hair was a lot darker then. What about you? What could you say when you first started? What can you say was different?
Let's see. I didn't have any gray hair. I was probably a little bit skinnier.
Okay.
And Big Ben was doing a campaign to try to get me a wife, and it took about 10 years, but it worked.
It worked. Oh, I wish you could have seen it. It worked.
I know.
It worked. So what was it like signing off for the last time after a decade of Penalty Box Radio?
Very bittersweet. I mean, Chase McCabe. Love him so much. He was our first ever producer when he was in college still at MTSU. He was our first producer, and then for him to come on as a program director was a pretty awesome feat just to see everything that he's been able to accomplish in his career. And he found a couple of things for us, and some of our old original introduction that we had, and then we had plenty of special messages that Abigail Martin put together from his various media personalities, including Pete Weber and Robbie Stanley and so many various other people. It was really awesome just to see how much we were part of the hockey and sports community in Nashville.
I think Chase actually weighed more when he was your producer. I think he's heard me shame the radio butt story so much that he's actually shedded in those 10 years.
He's a good-looking dude.
Exactly. We'll work on his abilities at sports. We'll work on that. We'll get that better. So what was your takeaway from the 45-minute presser yesterday?
It was they were very prepared. And they should have been, because they know what I think is being said all across social media, from fans, from media alike, in terms of just the expectations going into playoffs. And then based on how the season progressed, and especially the middle part of the season where they were competing for the top couple spots in the conference. So I think that raised expectations for what people were seeing out of the team. And then you have your 2 40-goal scorers. You have a guy who deserves to win the Norris Trophy, Vezina Trophy candidate. You have all those accolades up there. It obviously raised expectations. So David Poile and John Hines came in with good prepared statements. It was one of those things that when Adam Vingan released that John Hines is going to be extended, you can tell it was very calculated for a reason, obviously, to know they were going to address that at the beginning of the press conference as well, too. So I know it didn't make too many people happy as much with what was said during it, but if anything, what I appreciate is they let questions continue to go. They knew there were going to be plenty of questions, and then they had one-on-ones after that with media as well to make sure that any question that someone had, they had an opportunity to ask it. And I think it was one of those things that they had to let that happen to get through the media firestorm, to let everything be told, let the stories come out, to get through it, then work on the off season. So I'll definitely commend Preds PR for that, for letting that happen and not holding anything back.
So what side of the fence are you on? And everybody we've trotted on, let them give their opinions on the direction moving forward. So how do you feel about the state of affairs? Where are you in everything moving forward now that the season is over?
So it's really interesting because I think what happened is that the regular season, because people have talked about it, the regular season was entertaining. It was a very entertaining regular season, given there was lots of goal production, great saves. You have Roman Josi setting records and doing something that hasn't been done in decades by a defenseman. But the state of what happened in the playoffs is what is the most recent taste in so many people's mouths. And it's really difficult to separate those things because you have this type of season and then you almost back into the postseason by having those couple losses that they did have, or they could have changed their opponents. It really leaves a bad taste in so many people's mouths. And so I think it's that recency bias that comes in a lot. For me, if I was doing this, I would have rather seen the 1 year for John Hines. Going based on what we see, we had a really good idea of what was going to happen with the organization. I think if we were taking any extremes, it was something that most people knew was not going to happen. So I try to look at it more realistically and what I think the organization could do. The 2 years, I think, is better than 3. It gives an opportunity to go improve yourself, or if you fail, you get to move on. But I think it's one of those things that they're not interchangeable. You can't do one without the other. It's getting really close to time, if not past time, for there to be some sort of change in management. And I think we all know that. It's coming almost naturally, given David Poile's age as well, and that was pushed upon as well in the press conference yesterday, too. What's the succession plan? Is there one? What's going to happen next? Is there a plan? And you can tell that there's been so much discussion on, is there a plan, that Poile addressed that in his opening statements and his opening prepared remarks. So my thought is that I understand what they're trying to do. I understand that they have a plan. But at this point, yes, there's been playoff success in terms of making the playoffs, but the expectations got raised so much that people are wanting change more quickly now. And at times you have to deliver that for your fans. At times you have to make them trust the process. But when David Poile is saying that he doesn't see the sentiment of fan apathy or of frustration, he's not seeing the same things that I think a lot of us are seeing that manage a Facebook group of 29,000 people that are on Twitter. There's a lot of people that are frustrated, but I don't think change is going to happen until something changes in the pocketbooks as well, too. There's got to be some sort of monetary assessment here, too, because they're competitive, they're making the playoffs. Why make drastic changes? Because as long as you can make the playoffs, you're bringing that extra money in, you're at least competitive, and it gives you a chance. So I would like to see change come eventually, too, but I think it's going to have to start with management compared to coaching.
A lot of people believe the Predators are dripping in mediocrity. Are you on that side of the fence? Do you believe they are mediocre?
I don't think mediocre is the word I would use. I would use more status quo. I know they're very similar.
See, there we go. That's good, because that's what I said earlier. Like, I think the people that feel that way, they're using the wrong word. And status quo, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, the status quo, because mediocre, they're competitive. They can be fun. They can be exciting to watch. They make the playoffs. And, 32 teams, half the teams make it. But it's a battle to make it to the playoffs. But people want more. The expectation's higher. The expectation is deep run. Yeah, you're not going to win a championship every year. That's really difficult to expect unless you're Tampa Bay. But the expectation is the team should be getting set up for deep runs every year, at least have that ability to make a potential deep run. And who knows, we could be having a very different conversation if they played Calgary and beat Calgary and lost in the second round. It's like, okay, with this team, they won in the first round. Wow, that's a huge accomplishment. Or even won 2 games in the first round against the behemoth of Colorado. So I think the status quo is more that make the playoffs, see what happens. And David Poyle said that many, many years. The goal, make the playoffs, and then see what happens. And the goal has been make a championship-winning team. So the status quo comes into play when it seems like, from the outside perspective, that it's okay with putting a competitive team together to at least make the playoffs and hope something special comes together. And I know they say, and I know Sean Henry had the letter today about not trying to run it back to 2017 or build off of that. But the feeling comes in with that still so much, too, of, is that something you truly want to accomplish? Yes, they're willing to spend to the cap. Yes, they want to re-sign Forsberg. Yes, there's plans to bring in more free agents. But what exactly is that plan? How are they going to accomplish that? So that's why I use the term status quo, because it seems like so much is okay right now.
Justin Bradford is with us. So, Justin, you made some interesting points. What would be the franchises in your mind that achieve what you're talking about? I think you said – make the playoffs every year and be in position to compete for the Stanley Cup every year? Make a playoff run every year?
Yeah, and it's...
So what would be those franchises in your mind that would be on that list? Tampa would be one, right? Tampa,
yeah. Tampa be one, and I think it's a unique position because David Poyle even brought it up too, is this team has never been awful enough to be in position where they do get really good draft picks. And that's unique because Tampa had that for a while. Colorado had that. Pittsburgh had that. Chicago had that. So I think it's a difficult balance to find those expectations versus what can be real, because Nashville, in their instance, they've been so competitive that they always have middle of the first-round draft picks, late in first-round draft picks. So I think it's one of those difficult situations that the team is in because not everybody's like that. And they didn't have the type of thing to where they made the playoffs so consistently, just like Washington, but Washington had some bad years where they were able to get a generational talent like Alexander Ovechkin. It just hasn't fallen that way for the Predators. The one time they had that opportunity, everything got mixed up, and they weren't able to get Barkov because thanks Colorado for taking McKinnon and messing everything up. So I think Tampa's one of those, but they still had the opportunity to be bad. And then you had Steve Yzerman come in. So I try to give the benefit of the doubt because, the Predators have been competitive, and that's what you want. And there aren't many that are in that situation, and that's what makes it really difficult. It makes it really difficult to be so critical because not many teams have been in the position the Predators are in, but they've been consistently competitive enough to make the playoffs and give their fans that taste of something special. There's some that have just gone through an absolutely horrible couple years, drafted really well, and all of a sudden, hey, they're competitive in 3 or 4 years. I mean, look at the Red Wings. They should be competitive in the next few years, given the talent they've been able to draft. The Predators have never had to go through that. So it's difficult, like you say, Will, it's difficult to find another team that is in this situation for better or for worse when it comes to it. Because I can say the market now should be able to survive a couple down years if they went through that, but it's difficult as a team when it's so competitive with the Titans and Nashville SC with other things to do. It'd be difficult to sustain that now to have a couple lean years if they went that route. So I understand David Poyle saying that they have to remain competitive. There's no rebuild in the plan. They have to be pushing for the playoffs every year.
All of this, to me, is great discussion because it means, and this goes back to the history of your show and your role, Justin, is the development of the fan base, the passion, the desire to want to win, because this is a great philosophical conversation. Regardless of what team you're talking about, you mentioned Detroit and Washington. Like, Washington's gone through a ton of different phases, right? Right now they're in a phase that's very similar to the Predators. They have not won a playoff series in 4 years. They've made the playoffs all 4 years. They've lost in the first round. They won it in the 1 year. Prior to that, what was the prevailing thought of Washington? They can't win the big one, right? They can't get past Pittsburgh. They're never going to win it. And they sort of saved the course, and they finally got their title. Detroit was the model franchise for all those early years of the franchise. They have not won a playoff series in 9 years. They haven't made the playoffs in 6 years. So there's no perfect way to do things, especially in the salary cap era where everybody's got basically the same resources.
Right, yeah, you're absolutely right. And you think about, too, Detroit, what they went through before they had the good years, before they drafted Yzerman, even right after they drafted Steve Yzerman. They had a long time to wait before even making a really good deep playoff run and having to sign all the Russians that came over and everything. So it was a very different time in the NHL back then. But teams go through different types of cycles, and Predators have been in a very unique cycle because they haven't gone through, like I said, that downtime, whereas most of these other teams have been able to get a few good high draft picks to have that happen. Now, granted, too, you look at some of the draft picks that they have had for the Predators that maybe necessarily haven't panned out, and you just don't know. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen in these instances, too. I know Ellie Tolman had a down year, but there's still potential in him. And then they made some trades for good players. Luke Cunnin had a down year as well, and given where he was drafted, there's higher expectations for him as well. Philip Tomasino had a really good rookie campaign, and I think he's going to continue to grow into that role. That's one of those players that I think has that opportunity to be that top six. Hey, Predators actually drafted a forward that could do something. And so that's what's so difficult to match with the Predators is that they're extremely unique because as soon as they started making the playoffs, that became the expectation in the mid-2000s that they had to make the playoffs and they had to be that competitive.
So what's next, Justin, with Penalty Box Radio closing the books on a great decade? What's next for Justin?
Well, Penalty Box Radio is still going to live on. I have plenty of people, young people that are doing podcasts. They're going to be covering the team. Abigail Martin's done a fantastic job of covering the Predators this season as well. So she's still going to be covering the Nashville Predators. And for me, with Jeremy K, the K stands for Knowledge Gover, and Jim Chandler from 107.5, we're actually starting a movie review podcast. So that's my next big project of being a film critic is my next thing. So I'll still be in sports. I'm at Special Olympics Tennessee now, and we're actually, if you hear background noise, we're at Lipscomb University campus setting up for our state summer games. The first time it's happening since 2012, thanks to the pandemic. So we'll have over 600 athletes coming out to Lipscomb to compete in those games this weekend. So that's going to keep me very, very much involved with the sports world.
Well done. Justin, good stuff as always. Really appreciate it. We will certainly talk to you down the road. Good luck with everything moving forward.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, that is Justin Bradford. Good stuff from him. We'll continue the discussion on the other side, but Willie, you're going to tell everybody about QC Kinetics.
All right, let's talk QC Kinetics. Of course, that is the operation that's right here in our listening area, and they want you to be active. They know that there are some people out there that have had some issues staying active. It's the summertime. People get out. They want to play golf, tennis, get out on the lake, all of those things. But you might have had some joint pain that's hindered you over the last couple of years. Whenever it started coming on, hey, we all get older, we get banged up. And you might have had some people telling you, look, you got to go get steroids or you got to go get surgery. Well, there's another option called QC Kinetics that they want you to know about. It's helping people get the fun back. Advanced regenerative treatments. Regenerative medicine. That's the hottest thing going right now. And it's right here in our listening area. They can restore and repair the damaged tissue in your joints. And this might be your option that you've been looking for. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in these cutting-edge technologies. All natural. No surgery. No downtime. No drugs. So stop putting it off. Get the free consultation from QC Kinetics and learn more about it. This might be exactly what you're looking for. Totally free consultation. Call them right now, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Do you have that one person or thing that just makes you mad? Join us every Friday at noon on the DDC for You Just Made the List. Fueled by Parman Energy. Visit ParmanEnergy.com, your one-stop petroleum solution, and try Star Movie on the DDC on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You just made the list.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best Award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Hey y'all, it's Caroline Fenton, and I want to tell you about my friends over at 312 Pizza Company. 312 Pizza is my favorite place in town. It's family owned and operated, bringing you a slice of Chicago to Nashville. 312 Pizza Company specializes in deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, and all things Chicago style, always made from scratch using secret family recipes passed down generation to generation. 312 Pizza is open every day except for Tuesday and is located in Germantown with dine-in, takeout, and curbside available. Call 615-730-7888 or head to 312pizzaco.com to order. 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
In a world where human interaction seems to be reduced to chats and clicks and emails, where transactions are measured only by speed, where corporate policies overrule common sense, sometimes you just want to go old school. Welcome to Genesis Diamonds, a refreshing experience where personal relationships and authentic interaction are the norm, not the exception. At Genesis, you're here celebrating something awesome in your life, and we want to know all about it. We want to hear your story, listen to your requests, and be a meaningful part of whatever occasion this is. A proposal, an anniversary, a birthday, graduation, push gift, sweet 16. If it's important to you, it's important to us. So we don't care how long it takes. We're not paid on commission, and we're not beholden to some corporate rule book. We just want to help you get what you want to make it into a special memory. So take a break from modern shopping and go old school with us at Genesis. Let's start a real relationship that you can count on for life. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
It's on, it's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way, I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry.
Good tune, DJ Max. One of our best shots of the week before we get out of here today. Back here on the DDC, Darren McFarland, Willie Donnick here with you. The World Cup, FIFA World Cup, has announced that they will reveal the host venues on June 16th. So a little bit less than a month from now. And, of course, Nashville.
For the North American one.
Yeah, right.
So it's not going back to Qatar in the winter.
No.
That's good.
No. I'm only concerned about here. And yes, Nashville is in the mix, as we know. Nashville, Tennessee, and it says Nissan Stadium. So, look, you wouldn't have heard all this chatter about it if we weren't, people like Butch Spirit and others that, feel pretty good about the discussions. I'm not saying it's a lock. I'm not saying we're a lock. But you have to feel pretty good to get all – it's not just like, hey, we're on the list. It's gone further than that. Like, hey, don't forget, new stadiums being built. We want it up and running 2026, but we'll probably still have the World Cup at Nissan Stadium, and then we'll tear it down after that. Like, you have to have pretty – I would be at this point, Willie, the reason I'm bringing it up, at this point, I would be surprised if on June 16th we are not announced as one of the sites. That's where I am with it.
You're
I'd be
that
surprised.
confident?
Yeah, I am.
Wow.
Well, who does it? Since when do we have to worry about Nashville being chosen?
Yeah,
for
but
anything
these
anymore?
are not people that live in the U.S. of A. that are making this decision. These are people in way far off lands.
It is FIFA, so I don't really trust anything they do.
Look,
so
that
is a good point.
Look, this is no offense, but they put the World Cup in Qatar. Was that really smart?
I understand.
We're gonna find out.
That. I just said that. I'm not willing to give them too much credit.
Yeah.
It is FIFA, so yeah.
You gonna slip him a check, Darren?
No, I did not.
Might help.
It is FIFA.
I know. They accept checks or Venmo or PayPal or cash.
Big
bags.
bags.
Of it. Bags of cash. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I feel pretty good that we're going to be listed as a host site. I really do. But we'll see.
I think there's a little bit of a wild card to it, but I hope you're right. I'm just not as confident as you.
Darren,
I'm confident in Nashville. I think it would be a great success, but I just hope FIFA gets it,
Darren,
which I don't have faith in.
Are the cities listed, is it U.S., Mexico, and Canada, or just
Yes.
U.S. and Mexico? All three?
Mm-hmm. All three. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of choices. That's the only thing I'd worry about.
Yeah. I mean, Mexico City's in there. Toronto, Vancouver,
It just
Edmonton.
highlights how ridiculous it
and
is
Canada.
that this year's World Cup, that they moved out of season to accommodate the host country as in like one of the smallest land area countries in the world. And then in 4 years, an entire continent has to share it.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, look, the markets here are, pretty attractive. I mean, I could see it makes sense, but I don't know. Again, if we lose out on that one, and the all being FIFA, it's a wild card. You don't know what in the world they're going to do, but that would be the way this city has been going, this market has been going the last 5, 6, 7 years. It would be an upset if Nashville is on a list and doesn't get chosen. I mean, we're just not really getting left out. The only thing we're getting left out, and which is why we beat the drum on this show so much about the new stadium, is, all those big ticket things that they've made it abundantly clear. They've made it abundantly clear on our show. Bill Hancock came on our show and said it. He's said it several times. And Butch Spearden, again, to bring him up, and others have said, hey, they've told us they're not coming here until there's a different stadium. It needs to be enclosed. They're not going to come here and put that big event with an open-air place. Nashville's weather is not Miami. It's not California. It's not Arizona. It's not Texas. It's not going to come here. Scott Ramsey. I mean, all the people we've talked to. So, but, I mean, how many times do we just, get left out? Not because of something like that, but just we chose X market over Nashville. Can you state another example? I mean, it's not too often.
This
not
is
these
very
days.
different. This is just very different in so many ways.
I know, but I mean, what would have them other U.S. cities? Why would they choose? I mean, what would be your reasoning behind that? Why would you choose Baltimore over Nashville?
Just lack of knowledge.
Okay. Fair enough.
Peter Angelos might slip them a bag that you aren't sending them, Aaron.
I agree. I mean, I know. They tend to do things a little bit different. It feels like blue chips when you think of FIFA. Although I don't think they're interested in the tractor. I really don't.
Great video game, though. They make a great video game.
Yes, they do. For all the gamers out there. What did you think of Justin's word, status quo?
I don't think I respectfully disagree. That's not a grade. That's not a rating, status quo. When you get your evaluation from, mediocrity is a label of evaluation.
Is not very good. That's what I read the definition.
Well, status quo,
not very good at something.
Status quo from what? From being good? From being status quo means it's whatever it was before. So what was it before? Status quo isn't a rating. I understand exactly what he's saying is it's been the same result.
It's staying the same.
The last 4 years.
Yeah.
But that's not a rating. Is that a status quo of mediocrity? Is that status quo of good? Is that status quo
but not
of
great? Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? It's that's just sort of an offshoot of what we're saying. Now, when you listen to everything that Justin said, I agree with a lot of what he said there. He made some excellent points. He follows it as well as anybody, for sure. I just don't think status quo applies. When you get a grade on your test, it doesn't say status quo. Unless the last 4 tests you got a B, and then I could say, okay, status quo. I guess that means I got another B, right?
Well, if I got 4 Bs, I would be really pumped.
I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
I'd be really happy with status quo if I had a string of Bs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, I think what we've tried to, basically put out there today is people can feel that way. They don't have to agree with, the direction, the plan. But I think mediocrity or mediocre is the wrong word.
Yeah, it's
just the wrong
it's lower.
word.
That's not that's not a true that's not the fair evaluation of what they've done. Are they elite? Are they superlative? Are they exceptional? No. But they're not mediocre. They're above that. Let's appreciate what they have done. It's like when everybody was really ticked off, upset, frustrated, disappointed, all of the above after the Titans lost to the Bengals. There's a huge disappointment, and that's fair. But they got themselves in position for you to be disappointed. They went for 10 years, never sniffing the playoffs. So all I try to do is, when we're talking about these things, is let's not forget about the good things that they have done. Let's talk about what they have done as well as what they have not done. It's obvious what they haven't done. Both franchises, really. They have not achieved the ultimate goal, to win a championship. But I'm trying to add perspective. Pick a team, any team. With Justin, we talked about the Red Wings. 6 straight years now they've been in this rebuild. Are they going to be great next year? I don't think so. Maybe.
Great?
I don't think so. If they made
Probably
if they made the playoffs next year and lost in the first round, would that be progress? Yeah. And that might be a bit of a surprise. They haven't made the playoffs in 6 years. They haven't won a round in 9 years. I mean, pick another team.
Well, if you're saying to the
Vancouver.
point is,
How about Vancouver? How many playoff rounds have they won in the last 9 years? 9 years.
Since the Twins retired, none.
One. It was in the bubble. They pulled the upset over the Blues in the bubble.
Yeah,
that is the only playoff series they have won in 9 years. And you know what? They haven't made the playoffs in some of those years. A lot of those years. They didn't make the playoffs this year. So there's, again, it's relative. You have to put it in the context with everybody that you're competing with. Is that the objective? Is just to be good? No. But it's not mediocre.
There you go. I approve this message. We'll come back. Don't forget, best shots before we get out of here. More DDC next.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
they're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
And I-840.
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head. What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams.
This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have 2 choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
How good are these NBA playoffs, folks? They're real good, and you can make every game feel like Game 7 on FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Joe Rexford here to let you know that through these playoffs, all customers can place a no-sweat same-game parlay each week. You'll get up to $20 in free bets if you don't win. FanDuel has tons of ways to play. When you win, you get paid fast in a fast break. It's easy, it's safe. And these playoffs, I tell you what, the Celtics made a little statement in Game 2 against Miami. I still think Golden State and Dallas are headed for something pretty good. As far as same-game parlays, one thing I might look at, Kevon Looney rebounds. Think about that one as part of your parlay. And if you're new to FanDuel, download the app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Sign up with promo code Joe102. Get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Again, that's promo code Joe102. And if you already have an account, you're all set to bet. No sweat. Either way, you get up to $20 in free bets if your same-game parlay during the playoffs doesn't win. FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued is now withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $20 per week. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any. Did you know trading in your car at a dealer could cost you money? A recent study found consumers who trade in their car pay an average of $990 more. So don't trade in. Sell it to We Buy Any Car. Learn more and get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com. Find out how much your car's worth
Family Leisure invites you to vacation at home with a new spa, pool, patio furniture, or wood play gym this summer.
I really want a spa.
40 spas on display from Artesian, Best Spas, and American Select.
Prices starting as low as $29.99.
Family Leisure has over 100 sets of patio furniture with free delivery.
That sounds good to me, too.
We should really look at the wood play gyms for the kids. Family Leisure has the Diamond Point swing set on sale at only $24.99 installed. Family Leisure's vacation at home sale in Franklin and Antioch.
Hey, Nashville, what's the best part of hockey? That's rhetorical. We all know the answer. It's the 3-on-3 overtime, the speed, the skill, the tic-tac-toe passing. It is electric. Well, now there is a new, totally 3-on-3 ice hockey league called 3 Ice, coming to the Music City on August 6th. They're playing at Bridgestone Arena, and tickets are available now at 3ice.com. 6 teams touring across 9 cities, playing a bracket-style tournament at each stop. It's overtime all the time. Hair on fire hockey. Log on to 3ice.com for tickets now.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEAT for a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEAT for a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code BEAT.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Stone Company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
He scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
This is Greg McElroy, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Back here on the DDC on this gorgeous Friday. Yesterday we had Terry McCormick on before the Predators press conference, so that was in the first hour. Remember, Willie, I told you Burke Nihill had been speaking to the Sports Authority. So there's been a lot of follow-up since that, actually on the behalf of the Titans. I don't know if you've seen a lot of this. But some of the pictures that were revealed of Nissan Stadium, not flattering. I mean, not flattering at all. In fact, if you have seats in the third level, I probably, after seeing these pictures, I'm not sure you'd go to the game this year or go to a game this year. It's not good. There's a lot of cracking and major concrete repairs. But I was seeing a report by Fox 17 this morning that going on what Burke Nihill has put out there, that the stadium is in serious disrepair. And like I said, some of these photos have been released. Concrete just like missing on steps. And it says in here that it's now known as one of the worst stadiums in the NFL. For all the people that say, oh, you don't need a new stadium. Really. It's known as one of the worst stadiums in the NFL. The Titans estimate this is how bad it is. It would be $1.8 billion just to get it up to standard, according to the city's lease that's through 2039. It's weird because I saw this, and then Andrew Brandt quote tweeted this, retweeted it, and said, translation from the Titans to the state/city leaders. Show us the money or we may have to look elsewhere. What do you make of that?
Andrew Brandt, for those that don't know, used to come on our show with regularity. I think he is excellent at what he does. What is his background? He is a former agent. He's also a former salary cap guru. that work for the Packers, so he's got the unique perspective of being on both sides, the business side of a team and the business side of being a player agent. I think he's really sharp. Translation, if you follow him on Twitter, which I have for years, he does a lot of those. It's kind of a funny way that he presents things. He interprets what an official says and gets down to it. I have never felt that Amy Adams-Strunk would be like her father and start a power play of, look, you give us what we want or I'm out of here. That's exactly what her father did to get the team to Nashville. And I guess we should be thankful that he was like that, because he basically put the screws to Houston, and when they didn't give him what he wanted, he left. And Nashville was ready with open arms. I've never gotten that vibe from her. I think she has grown to really appreciate our city. But I do think that in time, there needs to be a new facility. I don't think you have to go to great lengths to convince people here that the stadium is aging, and it hasn't aged well. There hasn't been a massive investment from the team to put their own money behind it, spend money to make money. They've basically, in a general sense, relied on the deal that they struck and held the city to their end of the bargain. And that's about it. And so we've gotten the use that you would expect to get, right? It wasn't a state-of-the-art facility when it was built. It was a solid new stadium in a new market that had all the basics. It was new to everybody here, and it served its purpose. But that was 1999, and so in the coming years, I think we all know what the cycle is going to be. But that's outside perspective from Andrew Brandt. Don't we think that most people are fairly on board? Hey, it's time to address the stadium. We've been saying it for the last 5 years that this day would come.
There's no question about it.
But do you get a sense that, okay, you're going to start looking around? Now, there's no question there'd be several cities that would jump at the chance to say, oh, they won't build you a stadium? We'll do it. I'll guarantee you there's one right down the road in St. Louis that would not mind having a team back.
Right, and
that
could
tends
they
to
pull
be
it off
the
now?
cities. That tends to be the type of city that jumps back in. What happened to Houston the minute the Oilers left?
Cleveland.
What happened the minute the Browns left?
Yep.
They went all in. We got to get a team back. We have got to get a team back. That's the history. History shows that there will be a lot of cities lining up.
I felt the same way. I wanted to hear your reaction hearing that before I weighed in, because I agree. While we respect Andrew Brandt, he does tremendous work. He's very smart. He knows the lay of the land. He's also speaking on a subject matter from afar. And I, like you, have never gotten that feeling, even though I've admitted this week that I've spent zero time around her, none whatsoever. She's never been on this show. I've never had a conversation with her. All I can do is observe from far and talk with people who have, the few people that, I can talk to that have actually been around her, and I don't get that vibe whatsoever. Now, is she more visible than her father? Yes. Should she be made more available? I think so. I actually think they know her better than us. Every organization, for the most part, is nervous when ownership speaks, right? They get people in the public, in the PR department, media relations department, they freak out because they can't control the owner, and whatever the owner says, they're always on pins and needles. So I understand that would be in play, and typically, most of the time, they want to keep them out of the public view, as in, they don't want a statement getting blown way out of proportion. The next thing you know, they're in the news because of that. I do think she could do good. The settings and the people that I've talked to says she's really good in those luncheons, and I get it. Usually it's safe, it's protected, it's nothing hard-hitting, it's very, very soft setting, and so that's fine, but I think that she would be okay to do a little bit more. I think she could do a little bit more, but, yeah, I don't get the vibe whatsoever that there is ever going to come to a point, one, in our conversations with people, too. I don't get the vibe, well, maybe they haven't agreed upon everything to this point. There's no vibe that they're setting up for, an arm wrestling match. I don't see that. Or a match in the ring, loser leaves town. I don't see that.
Well, I also don't get the feeling right now. Now, of course, the devil's in the details, right? There's still a lot of hard work that has to be done. But what do we have here? We got a lot of public support for a new stadium. You've got a lot of city leaders, Butch Spearden being one, that's like, hey, look, we've been working for this for a long time. We got ideas. You've certainly got the governor on board. He's already put the price on there. He's put a number of dollars out there. And not everybody agrees on that at all, but I think it certainly helps that you have the governor on board with the mission. There's a lot that has to be worked out with the city. But I don't think you're getting a big stiff arm from a lot of people, which was the case in Houston way back in the day.
Oh, right. Cleveland, too. It was basically a fight between the mayor and the owner. That's what it was. That's what it turned into. Cleveland was the same exact way.
So I think if there's look, let's work with each other. I think we have the same goal here. We've got to address this. Hopefully our city has learned enough from the history of how this works that you can't just do nothing. If you can't, the answer can't. I think we know the answer can't be, well, let's just play it out. We got a facility.
Well,
just
if you look at the pictures, you would never come to that.
Yeah,
conclusion.
but we know. I mean, I sit in the upper deck. I'm not a snob. I go up there a lot. For different games, and it's not pretty.
Oh, it looks unsafe, is what it looks.
I've never felt unsafe, and the last time I went to a game was during the Titans season. I went to a Titans game last fall. I didn't feel unsafe up there. I did sit up there. That could be a little bit exaggerated, right?
Maybe.
But it's not getting any better.
I mean, I don't know how you exaggerate concrete cracking and splitting and looking like it's about to fold in half. I mean, I don't know how you really exaggerate that. But whoa. Okay, we'll come back. Best shots of the week and a little news. Wow. Okay, on the hockey front. Someone in the Predators division. We'll do that to close up shop here on this Friday. That's next.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Near record heat here on our Friday. High temperatures climbing to 93 degrees, mainly sunny, and a little mugginess to go with that. Overnight tonight will stay mainly clear. Low temperatures right near 70 degrees.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now, 615-576-5000.
If you're shopping for a new home, the last thing you want is another surprise jump in mortgage rates. Hey, Willie Donick here, excited to tell you about Loan Pronto's all-new rate protection program. You get a rate quote that is locked in for 180 days, 6 whole months. Brian and Amy did it. They locked in an APR in the 3s with Loan Pronto. When they finally found a home a month later, rates had jumped into the 4s, but they were protected thanks to Loan Pronto. and they saved over $200 a month on their payment. With Loan Pronto's rate protection guarantee, you can make offers with confidence. And there's no fee for this, no upfront cost. And most home buyers who go with Loan Pronto save about $3,000 in closing costs. Call now for the all-new Rate Protection Program so you can check rate increases off the list of things to worry about. 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. 499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
Summer heat is on the way. Is your air conditioner ready? Costs are rising everywhere. Groceries, gas, utilities, you name it. Is your AC old, inefficient, and costing more than it should? Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Qualified buyers have up to 72 months no interest for a new York air conditioner and 6 months no interest for repairs. At Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, all new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com.
I'm ready to step this up a notch. You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Indeed you are. Thank you, Dave. We're rounding third and heading home. Let's get in our best shots of the week. When does Michigan State lose to Michigan?
Never.
He had his answer ready for that, didn't he?
Absolutely.
Well, I know. I just said,
Never.
I mean, that was the actual text, but I knew exactly what T-Mace's answer would be.
Never. That's when they're going to lose to Michigan.
Everybody's going down a new road, and I just don't think whatever that road you call Tannehill Lane is not of, hey, we'll wait and see. We'll see in January. I just don't believe that.
Sounds like a
I
new
believe
song.
he's going to be heavily scrutinized. How, Gil?
You know, it's 2 weeks where you're over there by yourself, and then all the wives and girlfriends come over, and then that's when everything, you know, the watchdogs are there, so you can't have any more fun, so you have to go play hockey.
Is Germany where you discovered beer, Al? Or where did you discover beer?
That was at Providence College. That's where I discovered beer.
Yeah, most of us did.
When I got there, let me just say, they didn't stop everything. Oh, my gosh, it's Willie. Hey, Willie, let me. They were like, thanks for coming on. We're trying to win this thing.
I couldn't have played with them.
We'll tell you when it's your turn, and then you just hit your ball. Yeah.
I couldn't have played with them. Man, I'd have been like, man, I see y'all after about 2 rounds. I see y'all too serious. And nothing like that serious when it comes to, you know, sports.
No, they were good guys, though. They tolerated my lack of skill compared to
insubordination.
Yeah.
I had 3 guys.
There was a couple of shots that mine were going way into the, like, I hit a couple. I smoked them, but they were just way into the woods. You're like, hey, good contact.
That's what you say to somebody.
Well struck. And I'm sitting there going, the ball's in the river, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, bring us back. I can't listen to this anymore. All right.
You're not
Robbie
down with the
Stanley.
Backstreet Boys?
No. Robbie
Come on.
Stanley with us.
Liven up a little bit, Darren.
Come on, Darren. Have some fun.
Come on. Sorry.
Willie was going to let it roll.
Sorry, not sorry.
I was ready for the voice to kick in.
You joined Rexro tonight watching Sting and the Police out there.
You looped on me. Yeah. No, you're just.
It's either you're going to ask questions or I'm going to jump in and hog this segment again.
Okay. Well, I thought you were going to verbally toss it to me.
I said take it. Go.
I don't know what you're doing over there.
Go.
You're checking on your bank account for the kids, just making sure seeing your balance.
Make sure I don't have $10.
Making sure you have more than $10 in your account.
He wanted to be a first-round pick. Well, he wanted to be drafted high. Well, young man, you did. And now it's welcome to the league. And, you know, I don't know him at all, so I'm not saying he can what he can handle and what he can't handle. But as a lot of kids go through, you're not in college anymore. You know, you're not in Kansas anymore. And welcome to the NFL.
You're not in Arkansas anymore.
You're not in Arkansas anymore. Okay? We are, I believe, about to speak with Elliot Friedman.
You know what was interesting, Darren? Let me follow up on that. A question that Chase asked during the press conference was, would you be open in the meantime to bringing somebody in from the outside. As you mentioned, there's Brian, who's been, groomed and worked up the ranks over a long period of time here. There's Jeff Kelty, who was a player in the very, very first Predators training camp, who concussions sidelined his career, and he's turned into an excellent evaluator. There's Scott Nickel, who I'd also say is sort of in the family. He was sort of asked, is it time to look at somebody from the outside to add to the team somewhere? And he seemed very open about that. How has that worked in other places, Elliot?
First of all, it sounds like Chase decided to be a real problem.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, it was a good question.
A lot of issues.
It's a good question.
No, I'm kidding. I'm no doubt it was a great question. I'm just laughing about it. The thing is, I always think...
Well, he's got to do something, Elliot. If he's going to take 4 hours off the show, I mean, he's got to do something.
That's right.
Besides be the program director.
You got to make it known that he's not just down there eating sandwiches and stuff like that.
Right.
That's true. It's very important.
Hold on.
See, like now,
Willie,
he's getting sympathy from people. People are like,
who is he getting sympathy
Willie,
from?
There's
no
man,
sympathy. Willie, let me see your
okay.
shoes. Let me see.
People are gathering to sit. Look at it. Show it. Look at
Oh my word, Willie. Willie, seriously?
We have a breakdown.
Look,
seriously.
Let me just say. I'm going to expose.
You are the television play-by-play guy for the Nashville Predators, right?
Who doesn't play golf? Who does not play golf?
And he's got. First of all, I said.
And he got duct tape on his shoes.
I go. You play in Brent Peterson's golf tournament. He gives everybody $100 to go spend in the pro shop.
Which I used to get these shoes.
In 2003.
No, not 2003.
You've been in 17 other Brent Peterson golf tournaments.
Look, I got these shoes, and it was in the last time I played golf.
That is not
Willie,
true.
we don't want to hear that.
I do not believe that.
No, Willie.
That is not true. Look, Joe.
But now, can I describe the situation?
First of all, Joe walked up, and I said, Joe, look at his golf shoes. And
immediately
he tried to
photographic.
But he was trying to be so nice to you without just pounding you. The look on his face was he just swallowed a grenade. Like, I really want to tell you how I feel, but I can't. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. But the look told us a lot.
What is your explanation, Willie?
This sounds like a Philly special right here. That's what it sounds
is a
like.
Billy special.
Yeah.
We're going old school. We're going old school right here.
Yeah.
If you listen, there's some commercials. This one's kind of come back to life. There's a commercial that plays this all the time. We also were down in Tampa. We were at a rooftop. We were having dinner. It was a really nice night.
You let loose a little bit, Willie?
Yeah, we did. We had this was planned.
Billy let
This was
loose.
planned.
Did you cut loose?
Cut loose a little bit. I felt old, though. It was kind of a younger crowd. I was kind of looking around going, I'm glad I got the hat on, man. not